people ever since the pandemic. They saw that was an option. Like, oh, I could have been Zooming from home this whole time. Oh, I could have been teaching from home, doing this from home.
When Twitter
and people
did
were adjusting to that.
Yeah, when Twitter did that whole work from home stuff, it was over. I felt all the companies were like, yeah, happening.
Bro, you save money with like the rent, everything. You don't gotta lease these office spaces no more. Why? Because people, you making them come in, and then they save gas money. They save multiple types of money, you know. So
one of my friends work thinking that her boss is like super strict with like I'm like, you're not in the office no more. You don't have to be that hard on your employees. Go get coffee, come back. Y'all can all watch TV shows together. But did you respond to that data? Yeah. All right, cool. Like, you don't have to be all strict on people no more.
I still want to be dicks.
Yeah, like some people are honestly, I believe some people are born to.
Yeah.
Some people are really born to just be like, I was born to manage.
Some people got the big head. You can't control it. We ready to go right though? It sounded good? Yeah, we can start whenever.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
They gon' let me for my ambition.
Woo! Shout out to everybody out there in the world. This is Sound from Cap Club Ambition Podcast episode 69, a week away from episode 70. And we got Marlon in here, executive producing, per usual right there, holding it down. And this week, we have a co-host and also a guest, which we're going to interview and ask him some questions, but we're definitely going to break down some topics with him because I'm definitely heavily interested in his opinion, and I think he's a great, great speaker. We have Ivan Brooks in the building. Tell the people where they can find you on social media and everything, Ivan.
Yes, social media, everything, Ivan Brooks Music. I wonder if I changed. Did I ever have anything different from that?
Was it ever just Ivan Brooks by itself, or was it just straight music?
Well, it was Ivan Brooks. I remember, shout out Wande. Wande one time when Facebook really did his thing, and she's like, Ivy Brooks Info is your email address, and then I'm going to create that for you for Facebook. And then she's like, but, you know, this Ivan Brooks music thing, just make it work. And I was like, all right, cool. And I ran with it. Like, remember MySpace days was like, that was MySpace day when we created the whole, that's
that
when.
wave was different.
I think that's when Ivan Brooks music really stuck out. So, yeah, everything on social media. Ivan Brooks
everything
music.
Ivan Brooks, but yeah, man, the man is multifaceted. You know, we're gonna get into a lot of that stuff. I want to start with the topics because we're already kind of talking in here about some topics and some, you know, conversational pieces. So we'll start with that way. And yeah, let's get into it. The biggest topic I would say, or at least especially when it comes to music wise, that happened this weekend, if you guys haven't seen it yet, is with the gentleman, which we in here surprisingly haven't talked about in a couple weeks, probably since his unfortunate Nazi
Kanye West
rhetoric. Kanye West is back outside, boys. Like Drake says, he's back outside, and this time around is versus the Paparazzi,
being charged for battery.
Yeah, being charged literally for battery for literally pulling a Bad Bunny. He grabbed a lady's phone and hummed it across the street. So she's seeking some money.
I'm telling you, bro, Bad Bunny is creating waves, bro. That man's.
It's a new trend.
People want to be him.
Listen, man, at the same time, you know, I want to get both of you guys' opinion, but some people are saying he's wrong for this, he's right for this, it's expected, but let me pull up the actual clip from Twitter that has now gone viral of Kanye West actually throwing this. And then also, you can see in the video why one would even want to, you know, do this, because
he had that first interaction with that person, that first guy, and then
a couple years ago.
Yeah,
right?
no, the most recent one, and then he had it. See, this was the second one.
Okay.
So the first one was when he actually was like he did that heartfelt conversation outside.
Okay.
With the paparazzi, and he was like, "How would you feel? Do I make money off of that
at night?"
Yeah,
right?
yes, at night.
Yes.
And then this one was like the one where I think he was like, "Okay, listen."
Yeah, and the one I had in mind also, I don't know if people recall, but back when Kanye West went on TMZ, he literally was in the studio, and he was talking about he wasn't taking his medication, or he was back on medication. He was like overweight. That was because he had the interaction with the paparazzi back then, that time, that went viral when he was at the airport. And he grabbed the guy's camera and threw the guy's camera and broke it. And he got into like a sort of like legal dispute with that situation. He said that that's what spiraled him. And he told that, he said that in this clip that you're talking about. He said that, he was like, to the paparazzi the other day before this incident happened, he was like, "You remember, you guys know, like, what made me take medication last time? It was the paparazzi, like, my situation with you guys, blah, blah, blah." And it was like, oh, shit. First of all, Kanye's back outside. He got his wife, his new girl, but then he's running into paparazzi.
So he's really married?
Yeah, he really got married, but they didn't have a matrimony, like they didn't have a ceremony, rather, or anything of that nature. They just got married on some like, let's get married.
Site. Let's do it.
God bless. I don't know what that situation is, right? But then this is the situation that's going viral. Multiple encounters at the same day, same area, in LA. Here we have it. Kanye West interaction with the paparazzi. This one specifically has gone the most viral because, in my opinion, I think this is the one is the most funniest one. Because of what the gentleman says to him, and then what Kanye West ends up saying back to the guy. Is the Bluetooth on? There we go. You can see right there.
Running up on your kids' games like that? Hey, bro, what do you want me to do? Is everybody's here. Dude, you know how it is every week, bro. I want to just see my kids. I understand, bro, but it's not just me. It's 100 of us. Everybody got to stop when I see my kids. Bro, dude, like...
It's like heavy breathing.
What do you want us to do? It's 100 of us. I don't care how many. Well, what do you want us to do? Do you want to hear what I want you to do? Yeah, tell us what you want us to do. If I need to see my kids without you photographing. Okay. You can't go home and see them?
What kind of argument is that, bro?
Place. It's called human rights. It's a public place. Kanye, you know,
Couldn't fight that. He couldn't fight that one. That was a lost battle because everything when he talks, he looks for like, I'm gonna get you. But that one, it was like,
he had to think about.
Yeah, he had to think. He's like, you.
Human rights, he said, because he hit him on some Universal show. He was like, you can go home. Why don't you go home and see him? He was like, I guess, but it's a human right. Like, and then what is the human right though?
I mean,
freedom of what?
At the end of the day, we get it. He just wants to be normal. You know what I'm saying? Not
But
have
it's
a bunch of
impossible.
cameras and shit like that. But yeah, it's impossible.
And then my thing with Kanye West is this, and this is a message to Kanye West himself if he's watching. You never know. The gentleman be on social media. Kanye West, in my opinion, one week, you say you're a Nazi, you say that you have love for Hitler, and in the next week, you get mad when people are taking photos of you, the paparazzi's out, chasing you, and wanting to get photos of you and your opinion on other things. You can't pick and choose. But then it goes back to this. He, I believe, like I said all the time, has mental health issues, and people are not taking it seriously. He has genuine mental health issues because only a person that has mental health issues would say they're a Nazi one week, and then a couple weeks later, they're yelling at paparazzi, telling them that, get away from me and my kids, and what are you talking about? Like surprised, almost as if this is his first encounter with paparazzi, which is not.
Has he been diagnosed with like something specific, like schizophrenia or like... Because I've had experiences with people with certain mental illness.
Definitely.
And I learned the hard way. Because I felt like there was something I can say or do to help them. Like, oh, no, you know me, so you wouldn't say it. But when that taps in, that's a whole nother spirit you're fighting. You know what I'm saying? When they're in that world. So I'm just wondering, when every time someone speak of his mental illness, I'm just like, what does he really have? Is it just a breakdown? Panic attacks? Or is there something specific? Like, has there ever been like, okay, Kanye has bipolar, or schizophrenia? Because I mean, those things are
serious.
When those things, my house got destroyed 3 months ago by one of my friends because he has it. And I thought I could battle it. I thought like, hey, he knows me. He's not going to do this. But when that thing kicks in, like he starts talking to himself, and when it kicks in, bro, it's like literally like he's really suffering. So when the cops was like, do you want to press charges? I said, no. Find him and make sure he's okay, because I'm going to be fine. And he taps in and taps in out of it. But it's just like, it's a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
People are really suffering from it. So with Kanye, that's always been the question for me. What is it that Kanye is suffering from? Because if I can helmet that and say it's schizophrenia when he has those episodes, I'm not paying too much attention into when he does those things. But if it's something where it's a panic attack or whatever it is, then it's, it's something for me to be like, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, then I'm able to either judge, laugh at, or whatever the case is, because it's so deep.
Hell yeah. I remember most recently the person that kind of was trying to answer that question was Dame Dash. So Dame Dash had an interview, and Dame Dash is very close to Kanye, and Dame Dash was saying, like, Kanye just has help, needs help. Dame Dash was like, Kanye needs help. My brother has issues, and I know he has issues. Some people know, some people don't know he has issues. So basically saying he doesn't want to take too serious what he's saying and put people to kind of give him some sympathy.
Right.
But then, like you said, great point. what is going on? Okay,
Yeah.
he has mental health issues, but specifically,
What
is it bipolar? Because like you said, I have aunts, I've had people in my family who are bipolar, damn near. Sometimes I feel like they're tripolar, like they've been diagnosed with bipolar, but like they have these episodes and like these moments of, they call it manic episodes sometimes.
The manic,
And I feel like it could be the case with Kanye, but then is it safe for him to even damn near be driving? Because here you watch the video and it's like, at first, I saw it pop up Paparazzi, Kanye, and I seen the car. I'm like, oh, he's about to crash the paparazzi.
Right.
Like he's going at them.
Thank you. Like he's having a manic episode,
like,
right?
bro.
But no, he's sane. That's where I'm just like, is this like a financial gain? Is this lucrative to? Because when people have these manic episodes, like you have to do wellness check on them. Sometimes you have to let them. You have to let the authorities take in charge because it's really mental health is really a thing.
Oh, yeah.
So if it's being mocked, that's a serious problem. But if it's really an issue, let's find out what the issue is. So when each of these things happen, we're able to say, okay, Kanye is having this. If the specialist can diagnose what he specifically has, then we can be able to judge him less or more or be more critical. I think that's why a lot of people are usually confused. Some people say Kanye is a genius when he does these things because out of nowhere, then he's like, I'm dropping a new Yeezy. Yeah. And it goes viral.
New album.
And it goes viral.
Down to 5.
Right. Then all of a sudden, everybody go crazy on it. So that's why some people are like, is he mocking mental illness? Or is there something really wrong with him? Because every time something happens, there is something that financial lucrative gain that comes out of it. Which is why I stay out of it because I'm always just like, till I can find out what's wrong with Kanye, I can easily judge him or really sympathize with him in a sense.
No, it's a great point. It's definitely a great point. And then also we have the clip that followed at the same moment that has got him the actual legal battles that he's facing with this person.
Oh, so there is one now. Yeah. Yeah, okay, because I was curious.
So this is after that incident right there with the car.
Look at the guy in the back. The guy in the back is ready to film it.
Ready.
I'm going to get this angle.
Yep.
If I say stop,
I wasn't running.
If I say it ain't running,
I wasn't
stop with
running.
your cameras.
I know, but
Stop with
Kanye,
your
you're.
Is that just a frustrated person or is that mental illness?
Like that.
You look at this angle
If
now.
I say stop,
I wasn't running.
If I say it ain't running,
I wasn't
stop with
running.
your cameras.
I know, but
Stop with
Kanye,
your
you're a
cameras.
celebrity.
Is that frustration or is that mental health? Because a lot of people can say he's having an episode, or a lot of people say
look
no,
at his
he's
car.
just
I didn't
pissed.
even notice that until now. Look at.
Yeah.
So he cut this guy off.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I feel like that's
What do you think?
What do you think?
Frustration
or mental health? Because there's a whole mental health society that could say feel bad for Kanye for this, but that looks like a frustrated man having a bad day, tired of all of this nonsense, blah blah blah, and that's really Kanye just having mental breakdown.
There's days when we don't want to deal with.
Ooh, I have them days.
There's days when we don't want to deal with.
You know
people.
what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
And we get judged by our friends and our family, like, oh, you wasn't your best, and we got to write cards on Christmas. I know I haven't been my best this year on New Year's, or whatever on Valentine's Day. You write to someone. Yeah. I know I've been, as a man, I'm going through it. Yeah, yeah. He's a man, so we go through it. You know what I'm saying? As men,
midlife crisis.
We go through things. You know what I'm saying? So does Kanye go through things naturally, and it's just because he's a public figure and has a platform to really do this that we're like.
That's the thing. And then sometimes he makes it when he's not going through something. He makes he makes it look like when he's going great, like he's having a like what does he call it? Streams of consciousness, like during his interviews and like. Oh, and he's doing him. He makes it look so great. People are like, "Oh my god, this guy!"
I swear,
it's amazing. Like, he's perfect.
Yeah,
like, this guy, he's 10 years ahead. But then he have moments like this. Is someone that is 10 years ahead of all of us gonna really be interacting with people out? If I'm him, and he's how he says he is in these other interviews, you would think he'll be like, "Oh, it's paparazzi. Let me just drive by them, leave him alone, or hire security, extra security." You're Kanye West. He might not be a billionaire no more. But you can still afford security. I know local people that afford security. Like, how can not Kanye West, a millionaire, afford security?
But what was it? Was it Roddy Ricch recently when he?
You saw that, right?
when he spoke to the paparazzi.
Yep.
Right.
Was security guard too.
Yeah. Was Roddy Ricch having a manic attack?
A manic episode.
Or was he just frustrated? Listen, don't invade that. I'm really just chilling. Give me that privacy. Is that the same thing that Kanye is saying? Give me that privacy.
True. That's true.
Or are we connecting everything to mental health and all of this to Kanye?
That's true. I think the only thing here is where people are gonna draw the line is when he throws the phone. It's like, and then the girl gets
You can do that.
Yeah, and
Bad
the
Bunny
girl-
made it legal. No, no, seriously. Bad Bunny made it's a wave, bro. Like this thing is gonna keep because that. It's like you know how when they say like don't touch the cookie jar or like yeah you could do that now like as a teacher, right?
Yeah.
When I'm in school and then like one kid gets away, one like oh yeah, Mr. Brooks let you do that? Yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you're that angry and you're close to someone.
Facts.
It's like what do you do when you're close to people now when they're filming you? Bad Bunny. Grab the phone, throw it. Dun, dun, dun. It's like,
Bad Bunny.
yeah, literally. It's like, Bad Bunny. Boop. That's about to be the new meme. Like,
That would have been hilarious if Kanye would have said
it's like a new trend online.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Bad
It's a
Bunny,
new
like,
trend.
just
Ready?
Bad Bunny after he throws it.
That's the new trend. All of it, like, so it's crazy.
Bro, then that's true. But prayers for Kanye.
Yes.
Prayers for that lady if she's traumatized by him throwing his phone. We don't know.
I would be. I would honestly no. Seriously, that's my phone. I have a lot of things in my phone. You throw it, I'm gonna be
Man.
thinking about so
I'll be
much.
stressed.
What if there's certain things I can't get back?
At least not in the water.
I already provided the solution.
Oh, yeah,
I gave you
Otterbox.
ideas already.
Otterbox. Marlon had the
Otterbox.
promo.
I told you to automatically have it to back up to iCloud. I've given you the options.
Yeah, yep.
If you want to run the risk, go ahead. It's on
Because
you.
Bad Bunny fans, because her shit got thrown in the water.
In the water.
So we gave that option.
So the Otterbox, the protective case.
Yeah,
Something.
Otterbox.
Yeah, the protective case. Yeah,
case.
yeah.
If you're
I definitely get
gonna
that.
run artists.
Right.
with
Oh, yeah,
your
yes,
phone
yes.
out, better have a good ass case.
Otterbox should connect. Otterbox
Give
should
me that
connect.
sponsor.
Otterbox should connect to concerts like Live Nation.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to a concert with a celebrity,
Yeah.
get you a Otterbox. Why?
Because they throw shit on stage too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Throw the phone on stage.
Yeah. Take a picture, send it back.
Otterbox protected.
I'm
We get a free promo. I swear to God. Listen, man. But let's move on to Kanye's arch nemesis, former arch nemesis, however you want to call it. Drake has signed a female artist for the first time.
Oh.
For those who don't know,
Here goes the basement.
the OVO sweatshop. For those who don't know, Drake has OVO, the label, OVO Sound, I think is the full title. And this year, OVO Sound, Drake's record label, OVO Sound, is going independent for the first time. A full independent record label, Drake. So it's not under any major. He is, but not his label.
Okay.
So OVO, and the first release, top of the year, I believe, was the Pop Can song with Drake, Weekend Done. And then the following month, or a couple weeks later, it was the Party Next Door song
That's what I was gonna say.
that we reacted to. That one, Her Old Friends. And now we have a new artist that Drake has signed. Her name is Naomi Sharon. And Drake said that he was going to sign a female artist back in 2019 on Rap Radar. Here's the clip. And yeah, now we have it, a female artist.
19?
2019.
So it was already
4 years ago.
premeditated. He laid his eyes on her, had her.
Sign a female artist because I enjoy writing songs for like from that perspective, and obviously, you know, I don't really have too many places to place those records, so it would be nice to link with a female like in the years moving forward and try our hand at that. My big thing would be I'd love to like sign a female artist because
Listen, and in that perspective, where he's talking about him writing the songs, because he likes to, you know, people make fun of him, the 21, can you do something for me? He's saying, yo, I want to kind of write more in that level of like, you guys make fun of that, but I do want to write like on a girl, on some girl shit. You know how Yachty wrote the City Girl song that blew up.
Right.
So he wants to do that, but he's like, I'd rather, I guess, do it for my own artist.
pour it
And now
into
he has her, and this is the girl right here, Naomi Sharon.
I
You
seen
know,
her.
beautiful young lady. You know, she's going viral. People are catching up onto this, like, wow, she's Drake's artist. Wow, she's a beautiful young girl. And her music's not that bad either. It's pretty good. She reminds me of a combination between Georgia Smith and Snow Allegra, in my opinion. Gives me that vibe.
She legit looks like
and
a
she,
mix of
and
her.
even aesthetically, she looks almost like them. Like, she's beautiful. I hope they keep it professional. Obviously, you know, Drake is a number one.
Well, I think she's
the
married.
ladies. Oh, really?
Yeah, because I went on her page. There's a guy
even
on her.
better.
No, I went on her page. I tapped into it, and what I liked about her was she was just herself. I did like that. She was authentically herself. And when you scroll down further, because I kept saying the same thing to myself. I said Drake. I was like Drake.
He's in
ladies. I was like,
marriages before.
you know, he did. Well,
did?
So when I literally like I was like Drake, female artist, Drake. So I legit went on, and that was my perspective, right?
Yeah.
So I kept scrolling. I seen her natural, everything about her, and I seen a guy on there. If I'm not mistaken, we gotta check out her Instagram. But she was in some post with like like she has her own life, like her family.
God bless.
Yeah.
them.
So which is what made it more like what this is.
More realistic and more we want that.
There's no motive.
Yeah.
There's no motive behind this. It's professional. Like he genuinely is pouring into, and that's why he said I want to genuinely write for an artist and female artist. So that's why he got me in there, like the genuinency of me seeing, because there's little things sometimes that can have you like
100%.
Like,
I love that though. I love that and I appreciate that, support that, and also it's dope to see. But then you're gonna have some people who are like, damn, okay. But what about everyone else that's been on OVO? Because people always complain about the OVO artists not really releasing as much or not being pushed, quote unquote, by him.
Oh my God!
They always had that rumor, the sweatshop.
The sweatshop. So basically, if Drake sees you as a talented artist, I work with so many producers and writers, and they're like, yeah, we be in a studio and it's like a joke in the industry as overall. They're like, yeah, Drake sees you as a whatever. He puts you in a room. And you just produce for him. Anything, one of my boys always says, he's like, anything you come up with that's nice, if Drake likes it, it's his. But he'll give you a life. He's like, my boy gave me the metaphor like this. He said, Drake says, anything you want, cars, house, blah, 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 blah. You're going to look at that song and be like, no, Drake, it's mine. Like, he's like, no, you're going to be like, yeah, sure. All right, cool. Another car. You know what I'm saying? So that was like the storyline of being under
Drake's.
Yeah, under Drake's umbrella. He likes it, it's his.
He's a powerful man. At the end of the day,
listen, I guess if he gives you the writing credits, fuck it. I guess I don't know.
Listen,
are you selling your soul for the easy life, or no? I'm gonna release this music.
The thing is with his artists, whether they drop or not, you can't deny the quality. Magic Jordan is really good. Division's really good. Party Next Door's always been phenomenal.
Roy Woods.
Roy Woods has been great as well. I think that's where it really ends. Really with this, with now her. Even though she just dropped, her stuff is good. I recommend people checking it out. So it's quality. Maybe that's his thing, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to flood it, and he doesn't want to make it too obvious, because you can argue that every time there's an artist-ran label, it kind of fails or fizzles. Maybach Music, there's not really no Maybach Music no more. There was, it doesn't really, it's just Rick Ross now. It always happens. Young Money, it fizzled. It's still, they still rep it, but technically on paper, there's not really. There's these new artists, your Euro, the who else? The young girl they just signed. I forgot her name, but there's not really like how it was. Bad Boy. Everything when there's like an artist or a major public figure behind that label, it kind of fizzles. So maybe Drake's trying to avoid that.
What I was studying about it, I was wondering is each of them in their own market. And that because sometimes we want to obviously with the Young Money, everybody was on that radar in our urban market, right? But I feel like with all these other people, are they in their unique market? I feel like she may have a unique market.
Yeah,
like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like and music is so we're in America, right? And music is so universal, but there are certain countries and certain continents that literally adapt to certain people. Mm-hmm. We in America may not be like but they're huge somewhere else. And traveling internationally, if you're on flights, like when we travel, like we discover different music all the time, and we're like, and different artists, we're like, Cape Verde, everywhere we go, we find these other artists and they're killing it other places, like big in Africa, they're in Europe touring around. And I'm like, so is Drake signing artists and he knows what markets to put them in as well, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, Popcan, speaking of international, Popcan's his artist. Let's not forget, that's his actual artist. I forgot. That's an OVO artist, Popcan officially. So he definitely is tapping international with that. And Popcan has success. Popcan's always, been big. And
that last song, I don't know about that one, though.
Yeah, the new song was alright. But Popcan had a big song with Drake. I forgot prior to this one.
Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah, but
so Popcan is his artist.
Yeah, that's his artist. That's OVO.
Was that the original? It originally started like that?
So it was like a collab vibe. Mm-hmm. They always would say OVO Unruly. Like Popcan always said that OVO Unruly because Unruly is a Popcan's thing. But now I feel like this year it seems like it's just OVO only under the actual.
So was that collab accredited? Strategic to like
probably to leverage him up?
Was that look for that too? Anytime I see something come out like that, I'm always like. Sound, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on?
It's interesting though. But speaking of music, actually, let's get into the brand new album. I'm not sure if anyone checked that out in here. I definitely did my reaction. Go check out the reaction if you guys haven't yet. Shout out to everyone that's watched it. Almost 30,000 views. Lil Yachty dropped an album. People are calling it alternative rock album. Now, Lil Yachty is someone, especially if you're familiar with the reactions on our channel, that I've been very critical of when it comes to musically. I like moments of Lil Yachty. I like almost everything about him, but the most critical thing I always had for him was the music. I never really loved his projects, cohesiveness of it. I was like, I never really loved him. This time around, I'm like, okay, another Lil Yachty album. Last year we got that song that blew up, The Walk to Poland. It was like big on TikTok. I was like, okay, he might tap into that sound. Let me check out this new album. Bro, this album is like so unexpected. The sound from track 1 to track 14. Every single song is like a rock type of melody. Like almost gives me like Tyler the Creator, Igor album vibes, Andre 3000 vibes at certain points. Gives me that sort of like alternative neo soul. Because he even had Justine Skye on it, Daniel Cesar on it.
Okay.
So he tapped into that almost R&B element. But then his Lil Yachty. So it's like whenever he came on, his voice is even after replaying it, it takes me some accustomed to getting used to like his voice matching that sound. But then I guess he produced like 12 out of the 14 songs. He wrote a lot of this album himself. So overall, I think it's an impressive move because it sold like, let's say, I think it was like 20 to 25,000 first week. So it's not doing great sales wise. But then he just does not care. If you look at the track list, the features are not even on it.
Right.
The songs are spelled weird, so you can't even. You try to type in to find the songs, you
yeah.
can't find them. It's like on purpose.
Right.
So he's not even aiming to sell, get charted, whatever. He just, I guess, is just releasing. He said it. He's had his album done. He said he did it in 10 months, but he had it done for like 2 years. He was just sitting on it,
Right.
and he just dropped it out of nowhere. So now people are discussing it, hating on it. It's trash or loving it. People are calling it a masterpiece. This is one of the best albums I heard in my life. People are saying like, "Oh my God, like this guy is like, almost on some Kanye shit, like 10 years ahead of us, like blah blah blah." But I recommend people, if you haven't listened to it, go give it a listen. Because
I'll definitely tap in because I feel like
I'm good.
no, because
he doesn't like Yachty.
Oh, you don't like him. So all right. So now, prior to the music, I tapped in on him on who he was
As a person.
as a person.
Yeah.
So you saying what you're saying about the album without me hearing it, I believe that.
Yeah.
Because with the industry and the artistry, it's like what works, push it, do it. Like a lot of people, they shit on the fact of like, oh, the industry, the record label executive pushes what sells.
Yeah.
Right? Being front row seat to it, being behind the scenes in the industry for a while, it's what sells. People
Yeah.
take it personal. No,
Yeah.
it's a business.
It's a business,
It's a
yeah.
music business, right?
Yeah.
So he's been in the music business, and I forgot what it was that I followed in his personal lifestyle, and he was like, my life is expensive. My life is really expensive. Like I have to maintain these, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I
so
saw that.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like what works is what works, but you get to a point in your lifestyle where you're like, okay, bills are covered, like I'm situated, like I'm good. You know what? Like let me do what I want to do. Let me
Yeah.
create this, and you know, label's gonna fund, you know, whatever the case is. So I feel like he may have tapped into his Beethoven and orchestrated something that's him. And
probably what it is,
releasing it the way he wanted to is all part of that formula of this is who I am and this is gonna work. Because now if it works, you know, with anything, if it works,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything. If it doesn't work, he's like, well, at least I got that out. Because at the end of the day, like,
He's not relying on it for money.
yeah, at the end of the day, bro, no matter what you're doing in life, you're gonna have to get yourself out. You're gonna have to who you truly are.
Yeah.
That's why, and a lot of people go so long and they feel so trapped, which is why they come on like blogs and they're, you know, we call it like outbursts and stuff, and they're like, you know what? I hate the industry. I hate this, and I've sold my soul, and I'm tired. I'm quitting music. I'm retired. That's where it comes from.
Hell yeah.
When people throw that, like, I'm retired, because they never got to really let themselves out. I personally know what that feels like. So it's like, that's success for him.
Hell yeah.
That is success. He's like, I truly got me out. You know, so I feel like us not liking it or not, I don't think he cares. That's why, like you said.
No, definitely.
Yeah,
not.
I said that in the reaction too. I was like, I literally said that same thing you just said. I was like, after listening to I think that was the second song. I said in the reaction, I'm like, to be honest, guys, I'm like, I think that he's not even gonna care if we like this.
Literally.
I could just tell him like, this guy's just doing this shit like to because he wanted to fucking do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then comes out, he says it online. I think he tweeted it. He was like, "Yeah, I've been doing this. I just did it because I want to do it. I had this album for 2 years. I just dropped it." And I'm like, okay.
And that's a blessing for
It
him.
makes sense. This guy could do that because he has his nail polish line.
Yeah.
He was like the face of Sprite or something at one point.
right.
He always had like a brand deal. He was always like the brand child of hip hop. Like they always put him somewhere.
He's a cool character, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always followed. I've always followed him
He's
and
a cool
genuinely
character,
who he is.
100%. I fuck with like him as a human being and stuff like that. I just don't like his music.
That's why. That's why I might actually tap into this music because now I really want to see the him. You know?
Yeah, and then that's the thing with this one because I'm even kind of shocked that it's so low. But I'm like, I mean, fuck it, it's not meant to sell. But at the same time, I do want people to check it out because even if you hate it, check it out because like it's so interesting how he even did this shit. I'm like, this guy, especially top of the year, like to start the year like this is like such a curveball to the industry. But there we have it, Lil Yachty's new album. They're calling it alternative rock. Whatever you guys want to call it, give it a listen and then share your opinion afterwards. Why is everyone loving it? Why is everyone hating it? Share your opinion, comment down below. Now, speaking of, we can keep it on music real quick. So shout out to DR right now. It's turned up, it's on fire because of the news that broke between Rochy and Alfa. These are the two biggest artists in DR right now when it comes to dembow music, street music, hip hop, Spanish hip hop. And they've reunited, so shout out to them. They've ended the potential tension that there was for some violence to happen or, drama to ensue. They have ended it fully, and people are shocked, surprised, because it kind of came out of nowhere. But it's a beautiful thing. They have a new song that just dropped. It's okay, but I think we're going to get more music from them, and it's a big moment for DR right now because we thought that this was going to go south. It was almost similar to like I said earlier when it comes to their ranks, Rochy's like Future and Alfa's like Drake. But when it comes to tension and beef wise, it was almost like who had like major tension? Was it 50 Cent with
If we want to go as far as like East Coast, West Coast.
Oh yeah, that was big, right?
Biggie and Pac type vibe.
Biggie and Pac.
Yeah.
Did they once get along? Or was this always?
Never. So that's
I'm
the
not
thing.
tapped into
so that's
like
the thing.
knowing.
With Biggie and Pac, they once got along, right?
Yeah,
But with
so did
them,
these guys.
They never really ever meshed or got into each other's worlds or never been around each other. So they never were ever
So it
really
was always
cool.
like-
It was always like,
It's on
maintain
site.
your distance, and then eventually it got more smoke and more beef. But now it's fully ended, and let's hope it stays that way. Because that's the thing with DR artists, they get too weird. They might do some shit for clout. We want positivity for clout. In the music video, actually, they had a budget of 6 million pesos, which is like $100,000 in American kind of converted. Instead of using it for the video, they just gave it away to people in the hood. So the whole video,
the video.
the whole video is
So like that
giving money
Drake
away.
video, like, yeah,
Drake,
okay,
like
okay,
God's
cool.
plan.
God's
vibe.
plan, okay.
So people are like, commending them for doing that. Like, okay, they're on some dope, positive shit even together. Like, we want to see that happen, but. Yeah, man. Congratulations and shout out to them. I just wanted definitely to mention that because that's definitely a historic moment for DR music. And, people always kind of spoke about the tension and now it's deaded. For now. Might see some shit happen next week.
Or it might be a new crew pick up. Like, okay, since their beef is, it's our turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's time for the spotlight.
But speaking of disputes, we have this legal dispute that has happened right now, has gone viral. And in my opinion, long overdue. So we have Nike literally filing a lawsuit against Bape for Bape copying their designs.
I thought this was funny.
Man, Nike Inc. versus US Ape LLC. Literally, it's a case out of the court in New York that's currently happening. And if you look at the actual evidence that they provided, obviously, it's a situation that makes sense. All right. You're looking at the classic low-top Air Forces. They convert that into the Bapestas. And then they had a mid-model. It's just a Bapesta mid. They had the high. They had all different renditions of just the Nike designs. And some people were like, long overdue. They mad late with it, 5,000 years later. But, yeah. But at the same time, I don't know. It's like they could do it whenever they want to do it.
As far as the suit wise, like suing?
Because Bape did this in 2000.
Right.
So
I remembered.
Yeah.
I thought it was a collab.
That's what a lot of people
Yeah,
thought.
I thought it was a collab.
Because it was so spot on. It's like, oh, okay. Okay, maybe, okay. And then people were buying them instead of Air Force because they thought it was a collab. And like they look alike, the same quality vibe. And then 23 years later, Nike is now dropping the lawsuit on them. This is coming after there was a lawsuit last month against Cool Kai. Cool Kai is a black creator, owner. He has that sneaker that's like a Jordan 1, has like a lightning bolt, and has been popping, reselling. There's like a $300 retail. He got hit with a lawsuit after almost a year of making designs, different colorways, and then people were like,
guy. Is it that cool? Is it that
Cool
one?
Kai. You probably see there's a page. He's huge, but he came from the resale world, so he had that resale like a market and following. Yeah. So people always appreciated and respected him, especially out of New York. He's a major, big time hustler. Shout out to him. I really fuck with him. But then he got hit with that situation. Now they're trying to figure that out, that legal situation, which is bound to happen because people were like, these are just fake ones. Like, what's going on? But it's that bootleg culture because bootleg is not necessarily fake. People like the bootleg vibes because it's almost like a custom. Especially Cool Kai, he was doing colorways that Nike never did for the ones. So people were like, I'd rather buy these because I'm gonna get these colorways that Nike's never gonna drop. And now,
what's his logo? I want to. If it's
his
the same
logo
guy,
is like a lightning bolt.
Is the same guy that you're talking about? Because I follow him too.
It's like a lightning bolt, and it's more like a. I'll actually pull it up right here to actually look at it for reference. The Cool Kais, right there. The lightning bolt.
Okay, all right.
Almost, and to be honest, almost similar to Bape because Bape also has that lightning bolt, but Bape just has the star in the middle.
There's another sneaker designer. I'll show you him later.
But Cool Kai,
that's extremely similar to Cool Kai.
Yeah. There's another guy.
Extremely,
That's extreme.
It's
Yeah.
also a thunderbolt.
oh, you're probably talking about Omni Hellcat. Omni Hellcat.
I got to remember his name.
Because the guy that he had beef with, Omni Hellcat, as a YouTuber.
But you know, my thing here's my thing too, right? So for example, BMW, Mercedes, you know, like all these companies, right? There's like the model of the car, and I swear, like the emblems get stamped on, like literally, right? So
There's been cases of rebranding.
Yeah, you know, rebranding. So okay, you design is like, are you selling it? Like, you know, is there a way where companies can come to you and say, look, you did the blueprint of whatever the case is, then create that market? Because it's so hard. Sneakers. Like you have to, and the guy I'm talking about actually has designs of sneakers. Like I have to find his name, but he has different shapes and designs of sneakers that he's creating, etc. But like when you really look at urban streetwear, whatever the case is, the blueprint of it is what?
Yeah.
What do you really have to?
There's a guy that
Sukai.
SIA.
Yeah, I think
and it
so.
stands for like
he's and he's always on there. He's like heavy on. He's literally like
Sia. It's like
Sia. Yeah,
SIA.
he's very like. I mean, this guy. It's like he's like a Nike, but he's like the face of his own company.
Yeah. He went viral because of his boots.
He promotes it. Yeah,
and people were like, "Oh, he's just copying Timberland." And
I think that's what it was.
He did a whole video like, "No, I'm not copying Timberland because of this." Blah blah blah.
But he makes some hot stuff. He creates some hot stuff, but there's certain things he's like, yo, you can't avoid. It's like, dude, that is whoever invented this part of sneakers. Like, yo, we
took that. We
took that. Appreciate you. Thanks for the blueprint. Respectfully, but trying to sue people.
It's the idea of IP, the intellectual property. If you establish something first, you have every right to come and claim like, oh, infringement, like they're trying to copy it here. And that's what Nike's kind of saying here. This is the preliminary statement. So Nike owns some of the world's most valuable trademarks. Among them are Nike's made. Does that say made?
Nice.
Trade. I think they cropped it weird, but let's say just say the dress designs for its iconic Air Force One, Air Jordan 1, and Dunk sneakers. Nike has spent decades building its rights and goodwill in those designs to protect its hard-earned rights. Nike has a legal obligation to stop copyists when their infringements pose a significant danger to Nike's rights. Bape is one such copyist whose infringements have recently grown to become a significant danger to Nike's rights. Bape's current footwear business revolves around copying Nike's iconic designs as shown below. 5 of Bape's footwear products, the Bapesta, etc.
All right, the word danger.
Danger.
Does that mean you're now a threat? Is there somebody monitoring? Like, at what point do we say, hey?
Yeah.
They just want to control it.
Has to be financial danger.
But that word is danger. Like that right there, if I was on a legal team or whatever, I'm like, oh, we winning. They see us as dangerous, like we're a threat.
Because it's like, if you think about it, the Bapesta ain't cheaper.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not.
So like, it's not like, oh, they're giving the same quality. Maybe better designs for a cheaper price.
And now Bapestas don't really sell out,
No,
so they're
they
not
don't.
resellable no more like they used to be.
So why attack them?
Yeah. But then I think I'm coming down with the theory because I know more behind the scenes what's been happening with Nike. So Nike's been stopping a lot of their SB accounts to these local skate shops. So they've been closing those down more. A lot of these local skate shops around America no longer have like Nike SB accounts, or they're no longer going to have them in the next coming years because Nike wants to kind of have more exclusivity with their SBs.
They just want to do everything.
And they want everything to be sort of like funneled through Nike's app, sneakers. They want to make everything on sneakers. You get everything online. They're taking off the release. They're stopping the releases of actual in-store releases. They're trying to stop that. They want everything to be funneled through, almost like what they were already doing during the pandemic. And that's what it was. We talked about it earlier, where people were like, you know, these businesses, they're realizing, oh, I don't need a business space. You can just work from home. I'm gonna save this money. Let me do that. Nike was like, hey, these sneakers, I don't got to make these people go line up in person to buy them. I don't need them in store. They're buying them all online. There's more people online. Our app's going crazy. It's crashing. Sneakers blowing up. Then let's end these in-store releases. That's what Nike did. And now Nike's seeing all these bootlegs blow up. Cool Kai, SIA, etc. And it's like, oh, that's dope for them. But when they're copying our stuff like Cool Kai and Bape is, they're like, oh, let's stop that shit. Because this is our shit. We can do it. We are Nike. And even if we could potentially lose, we can afford to lose because we are Nike. They're so fucking rich that they're like, fuck it, let's poke this bear. And more than likely, they're definitely going to win.
Most likely.
People knew that this was bound to happen.
Yeah.
But when the Cool Kai shit happened last month, people were like, okay, we kind of get it. But why didn't you do it to Bape? Like, why are you coming at Cool Kai? Because he's a black independent creator. So this might be them trying to cover their tracks too. Like, hey, it was nothing necessarily against him. We have the Bape shit coming. Let's give us some time. And now they're hitting us with the Bape shit. We'll never really know the answers.
23 years.
23 years later, we're hitting you with the Bape shit, you know.
Well, I mean, people are getting successful off, like, the sneaker game, period. Like, you know, like, the young kid that became, like, a millionaire because he was, like, you know, flipping shoes. You know what I'm saying? So is that going to be the next thing they're going to attack next?
The resale market?
The resale market.
Because they bought something recently.
There's so much money being made from that. Like, there's millionaires in the sneaker game.
They got their own fucking people doing it. Remember the
one of the CEOs or something that came out?
The son or
something?
And then he disappeared and they and then he's back at it again.
Yep. I saw that. That's true.
He's back at it again.
He's one of the heads of Nike. And Drake made like a joke at one of the Nike events about that. Like, oh, blah, blah.
Because he had that dope-ass jacket on and shit.
Yeah, but that's true. No, it's a tricky situation, man. Business is business at the end of the day, but it's like you got to think about the consumer first. If these people want these products, you know, there's already rumors that Nike's already stealing some of Cool Kai's colorways for the next upcoming.
Why not? I mean, look at it now. No, seriously, why wouldn't you?
Because they were like, yo, you stole our design.
Who's
colors?
Who's running? Who's running the corporations right now? Young people.
Yeah.
We don't know. We think it's still like, you know, someone with a cane saying, oh, Nike. No, this is young people. You think a young person is not in an office like, if they say, let's get their colorway.
But why not hire him, right? Don't you think? Why not hire a Cool Kai?
That'd be tough. That'd be hard.
Would he want to? Did he create himself to not
is the
go
bag
back?
Or is the bag big enough for him? He might be like,
that freedom.
Be a collab type of thing.
Look, ask me for a collab.
Man,
we won't do that. We're Nike. We're Nike. We don't do collabs.
We get it. You know, we get it, right? It's like, okay, you know, you took my design, colorways, and this and that, but it's like you said, younger people just have, when it comes to stuff like that, it just have more appeal to it. Like, for example,
which one? The one you bought?
No,
you bought one recently.
Those are tough. Yeah,
it was like an SB vibe.
Kizzos. Those are the Kizzos. Those are hard.
They're probably gonna come down on him next. They're coming on everyone, bro.
You gonna get this?
I'm talking about. Why am I blanking out on our boy's name, bro? From
Sneaker. Bodega. Drew. Yeah, Drew White.
You know, yeah.
The designer for Bodega.
Drew, he's giving them dope ass touches of colors and you know, to New Balance. Who the fuck wore New Balances back in the day? You know what I'm saying?
Now people are rocking.
Besides like older white
Brandon.
people, you know what I'm saying?
Telling you branded.
Young people are fucking with them. He's done some dope ass design colorways and shit like that appeals to the young people. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, who brought was this Skechers that got rebirthed? What company got rebirthed and now everybody wants to get it?
I know
Pay less. I think it would pay less at one point.
I know Skechers blew up because of Ian Connor. I don't know if you guys were familiar with Ian Connor.
That-
Ian Connor was a huge stylist, Kanye stylist. He was huge in the industry. He had that brand, Revenge Storm. And then Ian Connor started wearing, he was like an influencer. Like he'll wear some shit.
Yeah, influencers have the power because
And it'll blow
Fubu's coming back. I think I've seen
They're
something.
trying to rebrand
Yeah,
Fubu.
rebrand Fubu. But Payless shoes. That was one thing that caught my attention. Back then, if you wore Payless,
Yeah.
you were poor.
Oh, Brian, 100%.
Yeah.
Now
For
it's
example,
like,
for example, now people going hard with Dickies.
Yeah.
Them prices are fucking crazy.
oh yeah, the prices did go up too.
Dickies wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't.
People would make fun of you because you wore Dickies.
Yeah, but now
Come on,
Dickies,
bro.
it's probably because Carhartt blew up. Carhartt almost became like Supreme. Like you wear a Carhartt and it was like cool.
But Carhartt
and then
is
Carhartt was so
quality, though.
basic, but it's quality, but it's basic.
quality.
So then maybe Dickies is like, oh, we're trying to compete.
But I mean, marketing 101. You put something on someone, it's over.
Yes.
Like and
Yeah.
these companies are saying, bro,
Yeah.
give you 100 bands, throw that on. Let's Beyonce the purse the
Telfar.
yeah
Telfair.
right. I thought that thing was super expensive. The person that made this from the country I'm from, Liberia.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I was like, oh, my Liberian brother. Hey. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like super. I never knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, Beyonce did it and it's gone.
Right.
It sells out when it comes out. Why? Not because it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's because the value is now there. So all these companies are looking at it like, yeah, let's get a corporate person to fund it.
Yeah.
Let's pay you that money and
Yeah.
it'll come back.
No, it's a crazy time right now for all these independent entrepreneur creators, especially when it comes to sneaker wares. But prayers to everybody. And let me tell you this much: I'll say this much: no matter what, never get into a battle with Nike. That's all I'll say. That's it. That's Nike. But speaking of marketing, one of the most marketing geniuses ever, especially when it comes to YouTube, the king of YouTube himself, MrBeast has gone viral. MrBeast has dropped a video that's the #1 video on YouTube right now, making 50 million views in one day and still going up crazy because he actually helped 1,000 people get surgery on his actual money. He paid for their surgery and he cured their blindness, 1,000 people. So now he has gone viral. MrBeast is facing backlash. They're trying to cancel MrBeast literally because of the fact that people are saying that the fact that he's making this content, it's like, why would you make content out of people's
Never gonna win,
actual...
bro.
This world.
You're never going to win.
There are people that wake up every
hate it on
day
Jesus.
and they're like, what are we hating on today?
Bro.
What are we canceling?
Yeah, 100%. They hate it on Jesus.
They
yeah.
hate it on Jesus. It really comes down back to that.
That-
if we're
yo,
being honest. Like, it's some
seriously.
biblical shit, to
You
be honest.
help someone.
You say theology.
Theology.
Theology is more
Theology.
acceptable now for people to listen to.
You help somebody, and God forbid someone recorded it. Oh, you did it for views. You did it because you want attention. But the people around you and shit like that, they know that you're actually that type of fucking person. But no, what matters is what the internet gotta say. And MrBeast, you're a bad person, bro.
And MrBeast has responded. MrBeast has responded to this. MrBeast usually doesn't respond to shit. Like, he just keeps it moving because he knows he faces, like, whatever. The most loved people are always going to be hated no matter what because nobody is perfect. And you can't please everybody. Like Kendrick Lamar said in his new album, you can't please everybody. It's true. MrBeast, though, has come out and said today, responding to the backlash, he said, Twitter, rich people should help others with their money. Me, MrBeast. Okay, I'll use my money to help people, and I promise to give away all my money before I die. Every single penny. Twitter, MrBeast bad. So he's basically saying, no matter what I do, you will never be satisfied, especially with opinions, because Twitter is a app literally made for people to share their opinions, share their frustrations in the moment. They might even regret it after posting it, but it's Twitter. And that's where you're going to get the most scrutiny on any topic. And we have people telling MrBeast that he was wrong for doing this, making content out of people being blind. Like, oh my God, why would you do that? He's profiting off of people's blindness. Bro.
Yeah. There's good and evil in this world, and evil will speak, good will speak. And it's a battle. I think people try to get in the middle of that. You can't. If a person, you ever met someone that's just like, nah, I just like being a jerk.
Right.
Like, yo, seriously, like, I just like being, there's a girl that just likes being toxic.
Yeah.
There's a guy that just likes being like, that's just life, bro. Like, people try to get in between that. And I always tell people, like, you're not going to win that.
Never.
My job is to wake up to be a good guy every day. I don't care what you say. My positive attitude is where, then there's that person that's like, I don't care what you say. I'm gonna find something to like, yo. I'm gonna talk my shit. Like, yo, bro.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, you argue with something like, no, I don't care if it makes sense. I'm gonna find a way to debate. Like,
100%.
people keep getting in between that. Like, he's gonna, and that's why, like I said, he's gonna do what he wants to do.
100%.
And
Man, listen. But shout out to MrBeast. That shit was a bit shocking to me because I saw the video. He was amping it up for a couple weeks ago. He was talking about that he was going to do this video. Like, because he always does. That's the thing about MrBeast. He'll pre-record some shit months ahead. Like, he's very planned, thought out. So he showed that a while ago. Like, he was doing that, going to do a video to help people with their blindness and cure them, help them. 1,000 people. And then the video came out. And I'm like, oh, I was waiting for this. But then to see some people like, oh, he's doing it for clout. He's doing it for money. Bro, if you really research MrBeast, last year he said on average every single video he dropped lost $1.5 million, $1.5 million every video in debt because he was always giving money out. Like his taxes and stuff, he probably doesn't even pay, or if he pays some, he never really is in the green. Like financially, they always say, "Are you in the green? Are you in the red?" He's always in the red because he's always risking putting money out, giving money out.
He says that the majority of the money that he makes from videos goes back into videos.
Yeah, you never see MrBeast in a Lamborghini. You never see MrBeast flexing. He always wears regular shit, regular tees. He always is a man of the people. Every video he drops as well, there's always usually a big sponsor of the video. Speaking of sponsors.
Speaking of sponsor, that's why I said this is a Coast Guard. Coast Guard is sponsor.
Yo! That's the energy of the world.
Yo, I literally said I go sponsor.
Yo! What the?
Oh my God, that's funny.
Every video, though, he has a sponsor. In the blind video, there was a sponsor of the actual like surgery sponsoring that. So that's what pays for the videos most of the time, and like that's what helps him do what he wants to do.
So he's living in his calling. He has a platform. He's doing what he needs to do.
Amazing
so he
man. Amazing man. Like it's like so. Shout out to MrBeast. But speaking of also big topics in the news, the saddest topic of the week has been this one right here. Rest in peace to Tyre Nichols, who has passed away. There has been a viral video that has gone around. I'm pretty sure this is not it.
I haven't watched it. I refuse to watch it.
Because I want to put it. Yeah, this is it, but I'm not going to press play on it. So this is basically the gist you get of the situation that happened Saturday.
I haven't heard about this.
January 7th of this month. There's protests. There's a current protest today in Rhode Island happening at City Hall. Planned, organized, safe protest going on right now in downtown. Shout out to everyone out there. And yeah, man, so this happened January 6th, and they actually have officially released the footage of this gentleman, Tyre Nichols. So the report says captured the brutality in this video that his family and authorities have already foreshadowed. He was punched, kicked while being restrained. He pleaded to go home and repeatedly yelled for his mom. After the beating, Nichols lay slumped and motionless against the car. Officers walking around the scene ignored the 29-year-old black man. The video consists of 3 shorter body camera clips and one roughly 31-minute video taken from a utility pole camera, which appears to capture most of the violence that unfolded just steps from Nichols' home in Memphis. So this happened in Memphis, Tennessee. The video shows portions of both the initial traffic stops of the night of January 7th and the second altercation just minutes later after Nichols fled the first location on foot. Nichols required hospitalization after the encounter and died on January 10th. And then this was the warning that they were given. They were saying what you're seeing is a fairly significant number of officers who are failing at arrest and control tactics and making up for it with brutality, said the CNN enforcement analyst. So basically, summarizing the situation.
Yeah, I refuse to watch it.
It's one of the another, let's say, stereotypical. Another month in America, another black man dying at the hands of police, law enforcement, basically is what's happening here. You know, we talk about all the time. There always seems to be a case of a black man dying at the hands of police. The unique situation here is that it was 5 officers and they were black, which typically is not the case. And the fact that they're black is making people think that's why also these officers were charged weeks later so fast. You've never seen incidences like this. It usually takes months, damn near a year. Like it always happens. Like they make it like a long drawn out situation, and even then they might not get charged for that. They'll charge them maybe for like, something like a misdemeanor or something else, or like allegedly this and that. They were charged, these 5 officers, right away with murder because of the man dying literally 3 days after they beat him up on camera. And it was all fist. Also, it's not shootings. We always see that also as well. Shootings, or obviously the situation that happened that went viral. Was it George Floyd when he was the knee on the back of the neck? You know, this situation was full on assault. If you guys want to watch it in your own time, I recommend people, if you can bear to witness it, watch some of it. I wouldn't recommend watching fully because it gets worse and worse, obviously, as the beating continues. But
Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I watched it.
The realest one I seen was George Floyd, and I watched that, and that brought tears to my eyes. I never wanted to watch anything. And then to know that this was like a beating, you're beating a man to death on camera. It's like,
bro, it's
because it brings out certain things in you, and like, I mean, not just before last year ended. I feel like I was going towards. I was on 95 South. I got pulled over, and it's like, and I say this to say, we have to be careful. You are never innocent. Just honestly think of yourself as never. Like my average, like my boy, like we got pulled over one time, and the cop's like, you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, officer, he had to go take a shit. That's why I was speeding. Right? So we got away with that ticket. So the next one after that, it's like I put like, music and I'm just like vibing, whatever. But this one, I'm on my way to Connecticut, like I'm leaving Rhode Island, I'm on 95 South, and I'm going, and legit, I get pulled over. But when I got pulled over, I'm in my mind, I'm innocent, right? I'm like, I'm innocent, like, so I'm just chilling. So I'm moving around, and he says, watch your hands. But it was an innocent moving, like I'm going to lower the radio, and he's like, aggressive, bro. And I'm still not tapping in. I'm a black man in America. I'm thinking of my innocence. I'm like, it's me. Like, bro, you come on. So I'm going to lower the music. I'm taking my phone, putting it away, and this man is ready to blast me. And I literally put my hand down here to describe. I mean, and I know, in this, I say this to everyone. If they pull you over and moving forward now, it's, you hear it like, hands on the dashboard, whatever. But like, no, really, like, put your hand there, don't move. You know what I'm saying? Because literally, I was scratching my leg, and that's when it looked like I was reaching for something. And he was like, he literally like was about to like blast me. And I told my family, I came back and I was like, I had a moment I'm still shaking up from. And they was like, yo, you have to be careful. You're never safe, bro. Yeah, I don't care who you think you are. You could be thinking it's innocent. It could be the smallest thing. You get pulled over, whatever God you believe in, whatever your, spiritual practices.
Pray to that.
Pray to that.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, because whoever that person is, if they have a motive, and literally after they researched me and they put my name in, whatever, he came by on the side of the car, he flipped his hat off, he was relaxing. He's like, all right, drive safe. But God forbid that was at night or the wrong person, he could have just blasted me. Yeah. You guys could have heard of, Ivan Brooks, a person from blah, 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 got blasted on, nobody knows what happened. God forbid. You know what I'm saying? But I say that to say, like, we have to just literally, when we come across, I don't care how tough you are, what rights you have, you're not safe, bro. When you see them lights.
100%.
What's the phrase? It's like, we might think, innocent until proven guilty, but in their eyes, you're guilty,
bro,
until proven innocent, bro. Like, that's how it really is in America.
If you get pulled over in America, like, period, like, bro, just pray, just do your best, just put your hands.
If you got the time, put the phone and record and put your hands.
Yeah, always record. Every time my mom or my
and do it before they get near you, and just literally I'm telling you, because the moment, and the only scary part about it is you don't know who's pulling you over.
Yeah, it
could be a regular happy.
Yeah, because that could be a thing. You could be like mad tense, like, oh shit, how's it gonna go?
And then a cool guy,
like, yo, I recognize you.
Yeah,
like,
right. Because most of our friends are cops and troopers now too. I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? How you been?
Bullets for nothing.
Like, right. So you're chilling. So, and some of us have that mindset that it's like that. And my friends are cops. My friends are detectives. Like, I have people in legal force, but 100%. But they always tell you, they're like, bro, I work with people. Yeah. I work with Hitler believing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I work, so when you get pulled over, you just never know who that is. It's not black, it's not white, it's, bro, you just never know who's pulling you over. Like, you're never safe.
Never know, bro. No, it's straight up
so
like that.
So that was my experience, and that would have been, I would have never thought that would have happened to me.
And this right here was a traffic stop. So that's most close and similar to like a lot of people's experiences, because a lot of these situations have been, you know, attempted arrest or like other things like encounters in the streets. But this was literally a actual traffic stop, which happens all the time. I get pulled over all the time. It happens, and then it turned into this situation because this man, you know, he decided to, whatever it was his reason to, you know, leave the situation, try to flee a little bit, and then evade them. They decided to just gang up on him and beat him to death. God bless, man. So, rest in peace, Mr. Nichols. You know, definitely. I watched actually the clip, which had me tearing up, of his mother being interviewed. And I sent the tweet out. I was like, yo, imagine the concept. And this is just in general. This goes out for everyone out there who might, you know, have any sort of like sympathy for this. I feel like people will relate because of just the concept of like, being a parent. Imagine being a parent to a child that is beaten to death on camera by the people that are supposed to protect us, which is officers, and then you being the parent that has to live with this for the rest of eternity because it's online. Right. It's never going to disappear. Right. People are going to see this for the rest of life.
Replayed. And that's your baby.
Your child being killed, and you have to just deal with that as a parent. That shit is crazy. And I'm like, yo, that simple fact right there makes me like want to be the best parent I could be already. And my son's obviously about to be 2. He's not driving or he's not even out and about, but it's still scary because you have to prepare your children for this world that we are living in.
And that's the thing too. A lot of parents are always saying like, speak to you know, nowadays you say, oh, the child's too young. No, speak life into, and a lot of parents from the George Floyd, parents are speaking to their kids now. Like, you know, you're pouring into like, listen, this is the world you live in. This is what's going on.
You got to.
You know, because it's a scary thing out there. You have to pour into. Don't ever think your child is not. Kids are sponges, you know, especially when they're young. They say train a child in a way when they grow, they won't depart from it. That's true.
I agree
like
with that.
Literally pour into them. Let them know the reality of the type. My mother's a Liberian African mother. My mother.
So your family's fully Liberian?
Yeah, fully Liberian. I came here as a refugee, and we've watched the day coming to it. Before coming to America, there was a video coming as a refugee. There's this like, I have to find this video one day. You know, we're in Ghana, you know, because the refugee.
It's like a family video?
Yeah, no, literally. It's what America prepares for Africans before we come to America. So there's this video. We're in the refugee camp in Ghana, and we're watching this video, and it tells you, this is America. And they show you like these gangs. New York. Oh yeah, the train. They show like literally all these police, all this you watch this scary video about how real America is. And then the parents are like, you see, this is what I tell you. The America, be careful. You know, so you got that fear when you come in. Yo, so you know, that's why when they say like a foreigner, like, oh, I don't want no trouble. No. It's not because they can't whoop yo, you know what I'm saying? It's not like they can't tear you down. That video's in their head. You know what I'm saying? They're like, you know, your parents. So my mother always instilled that fear within us. Yeah. That, you know, in this country, know who you are, and you know what I'm saying, strive above that and stay in your lane, because the people that are here may be adjusted to that, may be okay with that, whatever. But you come from that land. You're on a mission to. You know, succeed, et cetera, as a foreigner, immigrant, whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case is. So it's just like that fear I feel like we all need to put within our children or within the youth, period. Because I feel like us that live here, like, oh man, the police, or forget, you know, no, put that same fear in them.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Because when we all have that fear, we have that knowledge, we can move accordingly for our own survival.
100%. And shout out to, speaking of Liberia, shout out to our Liberian brother, also Paparazzi, which we had in here. He was talking about his parents as well, the famous, he's an NFL player, so he plays for Indianapolis Colts from Rhode Island, Paparazzi. So his mother and like them surviving and going through that whole, the Liberian war and everything.
I was in that war,
man.
April 6th war.
And we can even get into that. So for those who don't know, this gentleman sent to the right of me. So who is Ivan Brooks? Ivan Brooks, so when you were young, at what age did you actually experience this actual coming to America, being a refugee from actually another country, which is Liberia?
So basically, April 6, 1996, I'll never forget, I was in school in New York. I said in New York, in Liberia, Monrovia, which is the capital. And imagine you're in school, you're learning, right? You know, everything's going on, you're chilling with your friends, y'all in the yard. And we heard someone screaming from outside the gate, Because my mother, when growing up, my mother was one of those parents. She was like, I'm gonna do what I got to do to make sure my son is, in good schools, etc. So it was in like almost like a private school type vibe. And we hear down the street, the rebels are coming. The rebels are, meaning like the soldiers are coming.
Wow.
So they're like, it's almost like you're on Broad Street and someone's saying they're downtown Providence. So, but they're running, they're like dipping, like coming in. They're running past the school, and they're like, the rebels are coming. So they just dipping.
Yeah.
So somebody heard it outside the gate of the school I was in, and they started knocking on the gate, and they alerted the school. So people, all the parents, so of course, people that got money, the rich, wealthy people, a little financially stable, they started picking up their kids, whatever. And I remember my mother was working downtown, so she didn't have the time to, come get me, whatever. So one of my neighbors, her family had money, so they sent the houseboy to come pick her up in a pickup truck.
Wow. So
I jumped in, and when I jumped in, they told us to duck. And as we're going, we went through like a back road, but on top of the road, you could see the rebels transitioning towards where we was at. Like shooting, going crazy. So it went back to my neighborhood. We literally packed up. You packed up your whole, literally, like it's like you pack up your whole, whatever you can carry. So your whole block, basically. If you live on like, for example, if you live on Elmwood, right? Everyone on Elmwood, everybody's packing their houses up, like their clothes, whatever. And you guys get on the main road, like how you see in Blood Diamond.
Blood Diamond.
Yeah, when you see them on this long road with their belongings transitioning, there's a checkpoint. So you had to go through that. So we're all walking, trying to get out of there. We didn't have enough time to get out of there. The rebels come. They knock the door. They go in the house. If you're pretty, they pulling you out. If you got jewelry, the rule is don't let them know that you have no jewelry. Somebody has to sacrifice something, because then they know you playing them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They know you playing them. They come in your neighborhood. Yeah, they come in your neighborhood. So literally, before they come through, and they coming through, they're like, "Yo, you got a diamond chain, bro. You got a ring, yo. Listen, I know you got that car outside, bro. Come on." For the gang, like, what's up, please? You know what I'm saying? Like, for the crew, like, the family, the community, can you sacrifice that? So they come in the house. I remember we was all in the house, and because remember I just came from school. Yeah. So we're in the house, and they was like, yo, you got the watch, this, that, and the next. They took it. They took the car, whatever. So then they left us. Someone in the house was like, yo, they're gonna check the attic. Please make sure they don't get back there. Because the rebels are smart. They'll go and find whatever. So they came. They was about to go in the attic to find stuff, whatever. And then there was shots outside. We don't know what happened, but certain household, bro, there's someone, you know what I'm saying? There's always someone wants to jump like, yo, you ain't going to do that. You know what I'm saying? I work hard for my family. You're not going to do that, but we don't know. Yeah. So we literally, we left and we started walking. Yeah. We went from Cranston, kind of like a Cranston, to Warwick, to like West Warwick type vibe, and then finally the rebels were you get away further from you're playing racing with the rebels. Yeah, we get to the Freeport. There's a place we're staying at the Freeport. I remember my last day in Liberia. Like we were laying down, and they said again, the rebels are coming. The rebels are coming. So when you hear that, you already know. Yeah. I remember my last day in Liberia. My mother said duck, and we went as low as probably this table. Wow. And that whole night, they was just ringing shots. Because what they do is, out here in America, is violence, it's shooting, drive by, and it's done. When rebels come in your town, they trying to prove a point. The whole point of the Civil War is you're proving you're powerful enough so the people can respect you and show that whoever's in power.
Try to scare them.
You know what I'm saying? Like yo, if I could do this man in power, you don't need him. So basically, they went crazy. Spraying all night, and literally, if I lifted my head any higher, you hear it ringing throughout. They're just going spraying every house. Morning time comes, we heard they're gone. We get up. There's a ship leaving Liberia. Yeah. This ship is leaving. The rebels have to catch this ship before. If not, they feel defeated. Yeah. I got to catch this shit before y'all leave. If y'all leave, that makes me look like a punk. That makes my squad look like we ain't here to really torture, because now y'all escaping. Yeah. Nobody's escaping. Y'all going to either die or sit here and know like we in control. You know what I'm saying? So before that ship could leave, they're throwing people on the ship. Throwing. Because they were sneaky first. The ship is at night. People was docking. Morning time come. The rebels know the ship is about. So now you just throwing people. I was thrown. I remember I reached my last grip and I got on it. and they pulled me up, and I got on the ship, and they cut it. They left, and the rebels came, sprayed the whole place.
Damn.
We was in the ocean for 10 days.
Wow.
10 days. BBC tried to find us. The rebels threatened any African countries that was around. They threatened. They said, if you host them, we're coming for y'all. So Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, all those type of places.
Yeah.
They was like, if you know what I'm saying? Some countries like, we don't want no smoke. Sorry. So we was lost on in the ocean for like 10 days. It was sinking too. Wow. So people like, we drinking the water, you know, whatever supplies. So then I remember, I think it was Ivory Coast. That's why to this day when I hear Ivory Coast, I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Those are good people. So Ivory Coast at one point was like, we'll host y'all, but it's women and kids only.
Wow.
So we got off. I don't remember if it was days or for a week they hosted us. But when the rebels started coming towards them, they was like, yo, listen.
I'll let you go.
We did our best, you know what I'm saying? Our government, we ain't trying to, you know what I mean? Because they're really close to us in a sense. So they let us on. They was like, all right, go back on, whatever. So we was lost at sea. And then Ghana said, yo, we want all the smoke. Bring it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Ghana. Ghana was I respect any of my Ghanaians out there. You know, Ghana was a country that, because when growing up, you know, in Liberia, all you knew was like the war, you know, survival, whatever. So Ghana was the first land I got on, and I seen news reporters, you know what I'm saying? Like the Weather Channel and all that beautiful. I was like, wow, I felt like heaven, paradise. When I was in Liberia, I used to think, you know, like America or whatever else great lands was in the sky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And in Ghana,
and Ghana had that. I'm like, wow, Ghana's a beautiful place. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm happy. I'm looking around. So I love Ghana. So Ghana said they will host us. There's actually a video on YouTube. I just found it recently. It shows us on dock in the ship. It's called the Bob Challenge. If you YouTube it, the Bob Challenge boat, releasing Liberian refugees. It's on YouTube.
Bob Challenge.
I think, Bob Challenge. It's on YouTube. You actually see us. You don't see me, but you see us on docking in Ghana, and we got put in a truck, and we transitioned to a refugee camp they had ready for us. So that's where my family and I stayed for 2 years on the refugee camp. It's a ship, the Liberian.
Oh, Chalet?
Chalet. Bob. No. So let me see.
Yeah, you could put it.
Bob Challenge.
So at what age were you facing all this again?
This is around 9, 10, because I remember I left Ghana to come to America at age 11.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, 11.
Wow.
So it was right around that time. The Bob Challenge ship.
That's incredible.
Yep, there it is.
Okay.
This is it's so crazy I can actually find it. This is an actual video of when, this is the ship. Look how many people's on there. That's how many of us had to literally jump on that ship from Liberia. That's us right there.
Wow.
We were stuck on there for, literally, and we were in the ocean, bro. Like, I was in that mix. Me and my family was in, people were dying. They were throwing people overboard. And I was literally in that mix. And Ghana finally was like, yo, we'll let y'all come. And they took all of us on there. They had the Ghanaian, you see the Ghanaian people, they were ready. The military was ready. They was like, we gonna take y'all. These were like the certain generals, you know what I'm saying? That literally, like, this is all of us. Hungry for days. Kids are sick.
God bless.
Yeah, so this was us. This is like real. I came from this, but I was on this. And people were sick, dehydrating. Like, people were like literally dying didn't even know that they allowed us to dock. So people were like dying. My mother was sick downstairs.
Wow.
My mother was currently on her deathbed, you know.
Yeah.
God bless her. She's still alive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and they literally was like, yo, come up.
Wow.
They brought him up. And as soon as they brought him up, the Ghanaian people were able to help us. It's crazy that I have visual of it for y'all to see what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so they put us on the boat, whatever, and off the boat. And we that's what she left the country with. So some people left the country with a few things. So they were able to help us with supplies. Like, some of them had their marketplaces. So they were able to bring food. So they would help us. So basically when we arrived, this is what it was. We went on a camp for 2 years. We was on a camp.
Wow.
So my grandmother in New York, she had already lived there. So I guess the American government had reached out, was like, listen, we know what's going on. If you have any relative in a Liberia that's on the camp in, you know, Ghana, whatever the case is, request for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my grandmother, that's the ID cards, whatever. So they
Salvation Army.
Yeah. So my grandmother, that's how I knew about Salvation Army at a young age. You know what I'm saying? You see how they're scanning because they're trying to make sure you're not a rebel.
Wow.
Because everybody was escaping. So rebels could have been on there, you know, like trying to, you know what I'm saying, do their thing too. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Some op, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they had to check everything. Some of us got buses. I got put on there. There was so many of us. They started calling little trucks, like wooden trucks. I was on a wooden truck, and you could see through the peephole. That's why when I watch all these movies or like certain things, it's like, but yeah, we got on this thing and we was on the camp for 2 years, and then they ended up sending us to, we went to New York, JFK. Wow. I landed in New York, and then basically after that, honestly, bro, like it was over from there. Families were like, oh, I'm going to Georgia, I'm going to Minnesota. That's why I knew where most of the Liberian culture were, you know what I'm saying? Like, people went to Minnesota, people went to Atlanta.
That's where they migrated to?
Yeah, migrated to different places. Those were the key places.
Yeah.
And me and my mom, and I'm just like, where are we going? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and I tasted fried chicken and fries for the first time on the plane coming to like the real, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, this is, you know what I'm saying? This is different. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, this is fire. So yeah, we landed, and literally like we was in New York.
Yeah.
My first culture shock was put your seatbelt on. Put your seatbelt on. My mother, you know, my brother's father, you know, he literally was like, because he was already here, he came too.
Okay.
And he's like, put your seatbelt on. I was like, for what? Why I put these? What seatbelt? I'm asking, I'm like, what is seatbelt called? You know, he's like, that thing right there. You know, Africa, you wild, you chilling. You know what I'm saying? You ain't putting seatbelt. You know, you outside. So yeah, it's a whole nother world. Yeah. And he's like, because the police. I'm like, police in Africa, the military. You know what I'm saying? The ECOMOS, we call them. They got more power than the cops back in the day. Now, you know, it's more established. So when he said I'm like, whatever. He's like, no, in America, the cops is the goon. Like that's what you gotta watch out for. Yeah. So and I remember that video. I watched America. So I watched that little Gumbaya video. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So I started putting it on, whatever. So yeah, so in the cold air definitely hit me. It is true. When when you in Africa, you know what I'm saying? When you experience America cold, it's definitely different. But yeah, man, so transitioning from that, it definitely made me who I am. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would imagine. So that's why my hunger and everything that I am now, transitioning from there, my mother being a single mother, transitioning from us in New York, who was in the Bronx, and we went to White Plains, you know, and people are like, how do you talk like this? And some people that are from Liberia still have like the accent, like, hey, how you doing? Or they're like, how do you change? Yeah, a lot of my friends I was always different. You know what I'm saying? I was like, when I was in Africa, you know, I used to mimic a lot. If I had the cold, it sounded like you spoke Cerise, is what we call like Cerise. Like, oh, you speak Cerise. So every time I caught the cold, I used to be happy to catch the cold because I would sound like I was American. For some reason, kind of creepy is weird, right? So when I got in White Plains, New York, everybody was like very like suburban, like totally like, oh my God. Like, and that was like, I was like, yo, I'm in heaven. So everything, I used to go to my mom, I'm like, can I go to the Halloween dance? Like, can I, like, you want to smack me. But that, you know, doing that so much, it really helped me, you know what I'm saying, adjusting. I'm good at adjusting the accents and stuff. So I was like. Because
your dialect right now sounds like you were born.
Yeah, literally. So I picked it up. I was like, totally, you know, if you ever want to learn to speak, they're just totally like, oh my God. Do it for like a year.
So what age specifically did you guys transition from New York to come over here to Rhode Island? When did your Rhode Island history start?
Rhode Island was age 13. Okay, so Y2K was in New York. Right after Y2K, we transitioned. We told my aunt, we're like, listen, we're going to go to Rhode Island and gain our own independence. Because my auntie hosted us. Okay. You know what I'm saying? In New York, she had a big house. Yeah. All the boys downstairs, the girls upstairs. So then my mother was like, okay, we have to transition now, you know, because we're forming a new life.
Yeah, more independent.
Yeah, more independent. So age 12, 13, I would say around 13. Yeah, wow. I went to Bridgham Middle School, which is a culture shock, you know, coming from New York. I went to Bridgham. Yeah, so I was in Bridgham. So, because I went to school in New York and I, you know, experienced a little bit of that. But coming here, I feel like that's when I was like, I'm an American. Yeah. I was really adjusting to, so I had like the little bit of the accent still adjusting. Then the video that I told you guys we watched before coming to America, the gang life, you know, kids were like all young kids drawing on themselves. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Crip, blah, blah.
Bridgham was wild, though.
Bridgham, you know, the kids were drawing on themselves. Like to this day, me and the boys, we see each other. I'm like, yo, remember y'all almost tried to kill me because y'all thought I was in a gang? Like literally, it was crazy. And I didn't know nothing about it. I'm from Africa. You talking about gang. I'm in New York. New York, we bunch of comedians. We clowning and joking each other. I picked that up real quick. We roast each other like no tomorrow. So when these guys are like, I'm like, you big, and I still got the accent too. I'm like, you big dusted looking, not taking a shower for 5 days, looking at you know what I'm saying? Like ran the same team every day, talking about you gang, like cracking on them. And they're like, yo, we whoop you up, bro. And I'm like, yo, so it was definitely good, you know, adjusting. And my mother being a single mother, it was very hard on her. And I feel like that's what really molded me, bro. Watching, you know, because imagine coming from that and then a new land really adjusting into this world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and all of us, we have foreign mothers, you know, from Dominican, Guatemala, you know, wherever, you know, different lands. Adjusting to America culture is really like now, even now, like, bro, when I was younger, like, my mother was making like $9 an hour or $8 for me and for my siblings and I.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did you survive?
That shit makes no sense.
I remember when I was older, I was making $15 an hour. And I was like complaining. Yeah. I'm like, I never have him. Like, my mom was like, what bills you got to pay? You making $15 an hour? What are you buying me? Like, you know, she's like, what are you buying me? You talking about you making 15? You know what I used to, and then that's when she slipped up and straight up told me, she's like, I used to make $9 an hour. And I'm like, 9?
That's crazy.
You know, I'm looking at her trying to roast her like, what you was about? Like, wait, hold on. I'm like, no, you wasn't. You was taking care of us with $9 an hour.
That's crazy. Making a cookie stretch, like they say. You making that cookie stretch. That's incredible. And then now, transitioning to what was your, you know, you went through so much at a young age, you saw so much, and it's made you the man that you are right now. But even now, you wear so many hats. But did you have one set passion that led you to maybe your first, you know, thing that you did when it comes to yourself, now who you are as an entrepreneur, as a young kid? Do you have that one thing?
Yeah, it was music.
Music,
yeah,
really? So
music saved my life.
Really?
So when I came from Liberia, after all of that, PTSD does exist.
100%.
It does.
100%.
I didn't even know what that was. Like, I find out all these cool words now. I'm like, if you were to diagnose me with a lot of, you probably, you know, I don't, you know, America has a name for a lot of things.
Oh, no, they got drug for everything too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, my mother always makes fun of that too. Like, but like legit, like, bro, PTSD, I used to have nightmares every night when I came, like war dreams, like literally, I had PTSD. Like I would go about my regular life. I would come home, go to sleep. I would cry to sleep, wake up, and I'll go to school and just smile, laugh. But I literally, PTSD was from living in New York. Like, I literally used to shake, bro. Like, I went through it for years. Nobody knew. And I've always been, you know, I say, hey, check on your happy friend. I'm always that person, bro.
Yeah.
But like the things I went through coming, you know, and being, I was the dad to my siblings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when we got
How many
here.
of them were in total?
So it's my brother, Burnell, Blaze, and then Brianna. And Brianna wasn't born at the time, so it was just the 2 boys.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So like literally, I had to be the man for them, cook, clean, while my mother was working these shifts.
Yeah.
You know, and literally like that PTSD was everything. So I remember one time in New York, I was in the basement. It was an old school recorder, and I picked it up, and I sounded like, you know, with the accent. Imagine trying to sing with an accent. I'm like, hello, me, you know what I'm saying? Like literally, but that was my escape. I would go in this little room in White Plains in the basement, and I just had it, and I remember I called this one girl, and I always tell her, so I called her, I'm like, can I sing for you? And she was like, if you ever in your life call me and do that again, I'll have my brother beat you up. I was like, that was like a motivation for me. I was like, I'm doing something. So I kept practicing over and over. And yeah, so I learned, and then Union Baptist Church, I started singing in a choir in White Plains, New York. Then I transitioned here to Rhode Island, and I went to Ebenezer Baptist Church.
Okay.
And I was in a choir.
So church to church.
Yeah, church, you know, so
nice.
and we lived, and it was so crazy how it transitioned. It wasn't so much like religion. It was like more like family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I met my Nana, you know, Gladys Thomas, and, you know, she was like, I was walking, and I had my siblings walking. She's like, hey, baby, where you going? I was like, going to church. She said, where? I said, right there. She said, where you live? I said, right there. And then she's like, got in the church. I was like, you guys have a choir? You know what I'm saying? She's like, yeah, we do. And I joined the choir, and I just kept, and there was a room, there was a piano. And that room saved my life. To this day, like Ebenezer Baptist Church, I always go there. I go to that room all the time. It's like I breathe when I go in that room, because that's when coming to Rhode Island, that's when gang was really gang. Like, I mean, gang is gang, but back then, you know, it was crazy. The West Side, the West End. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? So like while they were shooting outside, I used to be in that room just playing on the piano or choir rehearsal. So that room, literally, that was the discipline. It saved my life. And then music. I got in high school. I went to, from Bridgham, I went to Health and Science, but at the time we were in the Fogarty building downtown. Yeah, it used to be, the strip club was next door. They got a hotel there now. There was a McDonald's. There was a McDonald's in the strip club. They got a hotel there now, like right next to, Yeah, literally.
It's crazy how things change. Like,
Yeah, literally down that whole area. It's like we were in that. We didn't have a high school for us. That's when they started building new, innovative high schools, etc.
Transitions
Yeah.
and shit, yep.
So the strip club was next door. We was there. But I remember Raphael, a whole bunch of my peoples. We used to, we used to do freestyle Fridays. We just started, I used to just sing, and I just started singing. And I was like, yo, I like this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was down there, and I think that's when musically I was like, yo, I want to be an artist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's helping me. I didn't turn to nothing. I didn't like being in the streets. You know what I'm saying? My mother put that fear in me, so I didn't like being out there. So I literally was just like, I was on a tour bus downtown, right in front of the Biltmore, and I think that's when Solange, she was on a tour bus. This is like, and this guy, I remember this guy named Jamaica. He was on there. He had one of his assistant. He walked from downtown Providence in the rain with me, and I feel like this is where it did it for me. He walked in the rain with me from downtown, from the tour bus, all the way from downtown to Cranston Street, and we knocked. Yeah, literally, bro, in the rain, and that moment literally sticks with me to this day. And that's why I'm like, the path I'm on, I'm bound to succeed. Like there's no, you can't tell me different. Walk, and he knocked my mom's door. He's like, just to tell my mom this, he said, your son, there's something about your son. He's going to be someone one day, and this talent that he has, he's sung for us, auditioned for us on a tour bus. We would like to do this and do that with him and for him, whatever, but your son is gifted. We just want to let you know that.
Yeah.
We'll try our best to stay in touch, but I had to come and tell you, if you don't know, that, so it's a gift, whatever. And he walked back.
Wow.
And that moment stuck with me. And from that moment, I was like, okay, bro, I
thought he was walking you to get a ride back.
No, bro. He literally walked with me, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I told him, he's like, take the bus. I'm like, no, bro, we gon', because all I know, as a young man, back then we walking, bro. Back then walking was the thing, bus.
Yeah.
So yeah, and from that moment, it was a journey for me, bro. Like from the high school singing with each other, and then, then talent shows started happening in the community, Southside Rec, Davy Lopes, all these things started going on. And I just really was like, I was pursuing that. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was what really saved my life. Music was what my foundation was.
And what would you categorize your genre fully as right now, or do you have a genre?
I, growing up in the church, I was a church singer. So, then shout out Justin Grams, the Grams family, Mel, and all of them. Justin discovered me in that process. Some girl, Cassidy, and she was like, "There's this kid, he's on the West End, he could sing, right?" And Justin found me. Again, it was another creepy moment. He's like, yo, I want to meet him. And we was at, what's the pool on Federer Hill? Is it Zucolo? Yeah, Zucolo, right?
Zucolo.
Yeah, so we went there, we was swimming, and then she was like, yo, I want you to meet this producer. I don't know if you know Justin Grams. He produced some records. He's a legend. He's out here if you look him up. But Justin took me to the mall. He bought me a tee. This is when the tees was baggy. Bought me like a red tee, you know what I'm saying? Bought me a white tee, bought me like the fitted cap. And I was like, yo.
Whole outfit.
Yeah, the whole outfit. And he had a studio in Pawtucket.
Yeah.
And he threw me in the studio, and that's when he was like, all right, this is what it is to be from a singer to a recording artist. I was like, oh, wow. It's a whole nother, and I got behind this mic, and I'm like, I'm thinking I'm in the choir. I'm trying to give Sunday's best. He's like, no. The first song was, Girl, I Need a Boricua, but I didn't. I was like, Boricua. All my friends were Spanish at the time, too, but I never could understand, like, Boricua. Yeah. So I made a whole track saying, Girl, I Need a Boricua. And I went back to the school. I was like, yo, during my freestyle Fridays, I'm like, yo, check this out. They was like, yo, it's Boricua. I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, so for a long time, in that world, I literally was trying to find who I was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I never wanted to be put in a box because I knew there was a talent in me. So throughout learning from guerrilla marketing, doing talent shows, posting my face on, back in the days, you have to post like flyers on poles and, you know what I'm saying?
Organic shit.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? So I used to do that. So everybody knew Ivan Brooks. Because like I said, that was so much of my survival, bro, from being, mind you, this whole time I'm taking care of my siblings. My mom's working. So this music was my survival. That was my me time.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like school, I was like the president of my high school for health and science. Like when they built the building for us on Thurbis. You know what I'm saying? But like music was like my thing. So that's all you knew me for. I joined New Force as a dynamic New Force, like a step-in drill team. I was a drummer on that, but I was doing all the talent shows, bro. Then, I got put in the music industry. I started meeting different people, and I was like, what is my sound, though? What am I? It's like, nah, you have soul. You're this. Then, meeting people in the industry, you say, sound like this, sound like that, do this. And for years, that's where I was, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, no, I always realized I never wanted to cuss in my songs. I don't know what it was. There was something about, like, my spirit. I'm like, I don't need to cuss in my song. There's more artistic way to. And to this day, like, none of my records, you hear me swearing in my songs. I mean, you know, we all swear. You know, I swear, but it was just something I was like, with my art, I just choose not to cuss in my song.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
wanna
like,
put it in there.
like, I'm like, it's just a force.
Flawless, Flawless said the same thing. We had him in here. Flawless, the rapper.
Yeah, like, I never wanted to swear in my records. So I literally articulated myself, and I was like, okay, but what am I? What kind of artist am I? You know what I'm saying? And, like, I had a record, Nice Girl, and Value Links had signed me, and they were affiliated with Sony. You know, that's my intro vibe, you know, and I broke number 16 on Beatport. That was my door in the industry. But he gave it to DJ Bam Bam. If you look it up on my roster now, Nice Girl. Everybody's always wondering, like, yo, what's this Nice Girl song we always see on your thing? Because I release other records and I take them off, but this Nice Girl never leaves because it was from another label. But Nice Girl, he gave it to DJ Bam Bam. But it wasn't my genre. It was like house music. This is when house music was like ready to do its thing. Yeah. And I was number 16 on Beatport, and it went worldwide. Like, I mean, like, it's like if you ever catch it, it's like on, you know. So, and I was like, well, all right. So my boys in the hood, like, they're blasting it, dun, 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 and I'm like, oh shoot, you know, it's like, yo, you gotta. I'm like, whatever. So it was my intro to get in that industry, and I was like, all right, cool. But I really had to find me, bro. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sing about love and life. You know, that's really
because every record I've seen you, especially you've posted throughout like the past year and a half of me following your stuff, the newer ones especially, they always seem to be positive like that, love and life. Like,
because coming from where I come from, bro, like, I have nothing else to give but, and I always say, I'm the light in the dark room. I'm here to inspire and be inspired. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I love that. And that's where my movement and everything has been birthed from.
Yeah. So at what age or what year did the brand, for those who don't know, and a lot of people, especially Rhode Island, definitely know the brand Situated. You have the clothing brand, you know, brand in general because you do events with Situated, but a lot of people know it, especially locally. But for those who don't know it, where and when did it start? Was that something that you attached to your music as merch, or was it something that just happened off of the strength of you wanted to do clothes?
Yeah, before anybody kind of like made it a thing about merch, I seen it as like, what do you stand for? Identity. You know, based off who and what you are, what do you really stand for? So in college, like, I had IBMC apparel, and people used to say, what is that? You know, it's a clothing line that I hustled through. I went to URI, shout out University of INTD. Yep. You know, and I did all of that in URI. But I was saying to myself, I was like, yo, this Rhode Island market, you know, everybody has crews. Everybody has cliques. Everybody has cliques. Everybody is like crab in a barrel. Like, you do this, I want to do this, and I'm going to do this to step over you, or I'm going to have my crew that is going to shade, or you're not as important as me. So for a long time, hustling, doing what I was doing, you know, and I was like, I fell into that, bro. I became upset too. I'm like, this person is doing that, you know. And people never want to admit this, but the truth is, bro, we're human beings. The Bible says it. Like, we have that in us. Yeah. You know, some way, somehow, you have to discover that in you and say, why am I disliking this person, or why am I? It's in us naturally, bro. And you find yourself like that. And I myself found myself at one point where I was getting bitter because the love wasn't given to me, wasn't shown. It was given to that person. I was like, yo, that's not what it is. So the rebirth of that was, I went to shout out oh my God, he does poetry nights. Coogee.
Don Coogee.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coogee.
So
Christian.
Yo, he basically, and I made a speech at his poetry night before he moved to Atlanta, his going away party. I went out one day and I seen everybody come together, bro. The new generation. Like, literally, like, supporting each other, poetry, music. It was like as if like I was in a world. You know, I from my URI days to how we had the cliques, the cruises. I felt like I was like, I'm gonna come out because I'm a homebody. Yeah. Like, I'm always in my craft. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, and I came outside that day, and it was a random invite, and I went, and I like random invites too. They always change my life for some reason. So I went there, and bro, and I'm just sitting there, and these young kids are like supporting each other, and I was like, yo, there is hope. I was like, the world isn't like this. There's hope. Because when I was younger, I travel. I would go, bro. I would get on. A lot of people knew me for like being like, yo, Ivan Brooks. I hear that name a lot, bro. I was the dude. I worked at Love for All. My job, bro, like any job I had, I would get on planes to go to LA for a 30-minute meeting to go meet someone. I'll go to like Tennessee, bro. I would travel different places just to go meet people, bloggers. Like, I was just trying to learn. People were like, yo, why do you do that? Like, it was preparation for an opportunity I didn't know existed, bro. I was collecting knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'll go walk the red carpet in this place. Like, I remember when TMZ first started, like, I'm in LA, like, I'm like, oh, this is TMZ. Like, I'm learning how the industry worked, bro. And just to fly back, I'll sleep at airports. I was literally living at airports at certain points. Mind you, calling my jobs like, oh, I can't come in, type vibe. But I say that to say, I picked up all of that. So when I got back and I seen these guys at this poetry night supporting each other, and I was like, yo, there's hope. There is hope that I can create something.
Here, yeah.
And I was like, this is my home. Rhode Island is my pillow. That, you know, people shun on it like, oh, travel to this place. I traveled there. There's nonsense everywhere. There's cliques in LA.
Yeah.
There's people overstepping. There's someone more famous than someone. Bro, it's everywhere. People always say, oh, you gotta travel to this place and expand. You live in a digital world, bro. Put some money in your ads. Get out there. You know what I'm saying? It's everywhere. Atlanta people are complaining. I'm tapped into everybody. I'm tapped into different countries, bro. It's everywhere. Make your home. Make it work.
Yep.
And I realized how to make it work. I'm like, yo, we have beautiful people in Rhode Island.
Oh yeah.
We have talented people in Rhode Island. So the culture was my lifestyle. I said, okay, I've came from somewhere. I've been resilient. No matter what happened in my life, I've never given up, bro. I was like, this is what my movement represents. Shout out Shirley. Shirley passed away from cancer. So when I was building the Situated Bear, Shirley and I used to talk all the time. She was so excited about it. She used to be like, she was sick and she was battling, but she made her battle seem like it was nothing. She's like, no, and I used to, me and Shirley used to talk all the time. And I'm very private with, my circle. And Shirley used to talk all the time. And I used to be like, Shirley, you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. So anyways, what did you do with the design? What's going on? And Shirley basically put the fight behind the bear. You know what I'm saying? And I remember one time I was speaking to her. She came from her treatment. I said, you're back from your treatment already? She said, yeah, they ended the treatment early. And I said, when you hear that, you're like, it's either because there's no effect to it, whatever.
Yeah.
And not too long after, I get a call from Mike. And Mike's like, yo, Shirley is in hospice. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? And this is when I'm building the Situated Tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm building everything. I was like, yo, that's crazy. So when Shirley passed away, bro, there was something about it. I was like, yo, like, if you're fighting for anything in life, like, be resilient. It put the power in the bear.
100%. You have more of a purpose now. You already had a purpose.
Yeah, but now it's like
extra. Like,
yeah,
damn.
and everybody gravitated to it, bro. And people would say like, yo, I see that bear. Something, and they like explain the bear, like, and shout out $1 Million Music, YB. He designed the bear. I remember, like, and I'm a school teacher, so me and my students, we would like literally pencil, like my drawing was jacked up. And YB was like, we did the distortion in the bear. The distortion in the bear is like everything that you've been through in your life is the distortion. But, with a bear, when a bear comes back out of hibernation, bro, you still say, yo, that's a bear.
Yeah.
You still taking picture of a bear like, yo, that's a bear, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's who we are. As people, that's who we are. And my Nana has said, this thing is your ministry to people. You bring people to this, together with this. So, we did the Survivors Link Up. Whatever you're battling in life, come to our skating party. Come vibe with other survivors. Because it's more than just a merch. People, at first people was like, oh, it's just a clothing line. It's just a clothing. I'm like, nah, this is, you know what I'm saying? Come vibe with us. It's a community. It's a lifestyle.
You created a whole lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's a tribe. That's what we say, tribe vibes.
Tribe vibes, yeah.
Yeah, tribe vibes. It's a tribe vibes. Come vibe. So all people that were like surviving, and it's crazy, bro. Like, everybody that go through stuff, or mental illness, all types of things, bro, it's a gravitation to me. My DMs, my phone calls, my friends, bro, people, I'm always pouring into someone.
Yeah.
And when my Nana said, this is your ministry, she literally spoke that. Because there's people that go through things, bro, and I'm able to just pour into them. Like I said, I get inspired or be inspired.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I go through personally, and I'm able to share my stories, bro. When I tell you how many people I talk to on a weekly basis that are like, yo, bro, I want to kill myself. Like, seriously. I don't want to get out of bed. People I work with, suffering from brain tumors, healing from that. People, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, and I'm always there. Bro, I don't know where I get these things from, but like I'm able to pour into them. Yeah. It's so creepy. When I'm done, I look at them, I'm like, yo, I don't know where that came from. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And really, and I literally, like, I'm able to pour into these people with this more, and the people gravitate to it all the time. It's bigger. And then we did the Situated Gala. People were like, oh, why are you doing the event? I say, yo, you know what? Let me tell y'all something. You got Day Trail. You got Yellow Cup, etc. I was like, okay, so when that's done, let's all dress up in elegance. Let's come together and celebrate life.
Yeah.
The first one, total success. You know, the mayor sponsored. A lot of people came together. We did our thing. The second one, we did our thing with it. So it's like, it's a movement that really represents resiliency, whatever you're going through. Because after going to that event and seeing that we could support each other, I came out of that mindset. And I was like, yo, that's when they're like, oh, this person's going to hate this. But I'm like, yo, bro, it's inevitable. People will hate. People will dislike whatever. But that doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah.
If you could create a movement, a world of your own, we consider ourselves like an umbrella for different brands. That's why you see we collab with different photographers, different people. Like models come, they work with us. Once models work with us, bro, photographers, people want to work with them. Organizations want to work with people, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not because of anything. It's simply because like you're part of something that stands for something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's called the power of collaboration, you know, and it's the power of God as well.
Yeah.
That's what it really is.
It's so chilling, bro. Like the blessings, I get certain financial blessings from it. And I sometimes I'm like, you can't question it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't quite. And I was telling you earlier, one thing about life, we are people, right? Our job is people. God's job is us. Our job is people. We are blessed to bless people. God will bless us. And that's what I've learned on this journey. So we're situated, the amount of money that's been invested in it, I don't worry about it, bro. Like, I don't be like, yo, I don't, because certain times, certain things I'll do, the financial blessings I'll get on it will make up more for what sales could have been, the quarter for the month or whatever the case is. I'm like, wow, this is, you know what I'm saying? Because I pour into, you know, from, the, you know, rent, you know, paying for, you know, the warehouse or, you know, photographers or certain things. Anything, like, I've given away so many free stuff, bro. You know, and one of my mentors told me one time, he's like, yo, you're going to give half of this thing away. And I'm like, what do you mean? This is like thousands of dollars, bro. He's like, no, you're going to end up giving half of this thing. But, bro, it's true. Like, I invest into people, and I'm always situated. I'm here today because I survived everything. I'm situated. We're now about to go into our next division of situated. I'm here today because I survived everything, but I'm healing. We're about to launch our healing collection. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
So that's what, and we're going to go heavy with that as well, because this brand is therapeutic to people, bro. The content I post, people love it. People respect it. It's motivating. I went to an event, and I forgot his name, but if he's listening, he was battling cancer.
God bless.
And I went to his event, and Delgado, shout out Delgado. Delgado's like, yo, I want to introduce you to this guy. I'm taking pictures at his event. So I'm like honored. I'm like, yo, you brought me to this guy's event. I'm feeling like, you know, like I have access to this. Thank you. He's like, yo, this is the guy that did Situate. He stopped. He goes, Situated? He said, you. He said, yo, God bless your heart, what you're doing out there for the young people, the community, etc. And I'm like, you know, thank you, whatever. He was like, yo, I was literally fighting cancer. And I was watching all the things you guys were doing. You give people hope. He's like, look around you. And then somebody had a shirt on. And he said, you see that brand? I was like, yeah. He's like, you inspired me to start that. And that was the event I was in. That was for his brand. You know, it was like a Cape Verdean event.
Yeah.
And then, you know, people were wearing his shirt. He was like, yo, you was part of my inspiration to like push through my sickness to do what I got to do. He was like, so thank you. And I'm in that event feeling like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's little things like that, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. And then also, like I said earlier, you know, Ivan wears many hats, and now you are as well, aside from being an entrepreneur, you said you also are a school teacher, but at the same time, you also are part of Boo Boo, Andrade, Demetrius, legendary Rhode Island boxer, might go down in history as the biggest, you know, most popular, best Rhode Island boxer of all time. What is your connection with him, and how did that even start at all?
Yeah, so I mean, touch on the education part first. You know, I'm a teacher. I love to pour into the children because the youth are the future. And based off what I've came from and where, you know, life has taken me, I feel like my overall goal is to come back and, you know, do bigger. But right now, again, our job is people, right? We always look for the success, but not the journey. The journey is really important.
Yeah.
And when you leave here today, you know, you have to answer to someone and say, what did you do while you was out there when I give you life? And I want to be like, I was pouring into people, you know, and children, being an educator, you know, I pour into them because I know the community they come from, you know, I grew up in it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm able to pour into them in the classroom, inspire them, etc. And we're having a youth day on February 18th, you know, and I want to highlight this day for the youth. You know, it's the kids get sturdy. They do the dance. We're gonna do a dance competition, $1,000 for whoever can get sturdy. So if you have any kids that like to get sturdy or like to get dance,
they all do nowadays.
Yeah, they all get sturdy. So we having a get sturdy competition at John Hope Black History Month. Shout out Brentford, John Hope. We're doing a Black History Month Get Sturdy Youth Day. So anybody in the city, I don't care what you do, if you want to contribute, face painting, whatever it is, you want to give back to the kids, come through that day. See a youth, tap them on their shoulder, because you don't know what difference you can make in their life. You know what I'm saying? So definitely that education side of me was definitely a major thing. And Boo Boo, you know what I'm saying? Like, I went to health and science, and Boo Boo went to health and science as well.
Okay. Same age? Same grade?
Yeah. So he was, going through schools and stuff, but he ended up with us.
Yeah.
And I don't drink. I don't smoke. Yeah. It was just a personal choice.
Me neither,
yeah. It was a choice that I made. I chose not to do. But my senior year of high school, okay, champ, it's me again, mister, it's me again. Boo Boo was like, yo, we outside. I was like, and I was one of those kids, like I said, I went home, I took care of my siblings. Then I'm like, nobody in school knew what I really did. Yeah. But, I never was in the mix. I was never in the streets. I was always, he always says, Ivan was one of those kids, school's over, grab his backpack, and he's out. Yeah. Because I knew it was out there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. My friends was dying left to right, whatever. So I already knew, and it was crazy back then. Street, bro, we were losing friends. The era I grew up in was crazy, bro. It was crazy. Every week my boys were dying. Yeah. I remember going to my final funeral, my boy Arrow, R.I.P. Arrow. I remember Arrow's funeral, bro. We were walking from the church to the graveyard. I was right next to each other, and I choked up, and I couldn't even cry no more. I was numb. I felt like it was my last tear, and that's when I knew it was real. I'm like, I can't even cry.
That's crazy.
I was like, yo. So you know what I'm saying? So coming out of that, you know what I'm saying? Senior year, Boo Boo was like, yo, it was the last day. Boo Boo was like, yo, come on. You gonna hang out with us today, my man. Come on.
Go out with a bang.
Come out. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? Whatever. So the Bugatti, the Dominican rum.
Yep.
Let me tell you, y'all. I'm from Africa. I know about Guinness. I know about Heineken. That's what I know about liquor. Okay? I wasn't really tapped in like that. You could see my innocence, whatever. Yeah. So they're getting nice on Bugatti. And I'm literally like, okay.
Was it regular style? Or
no, the real, whatever the realest of the realest, right? You know what I'm saying? They had a little puppy and got a little whatever. So, bro, he's like, yo, here's the Bugatti, whatever. So, bro, I literally took that joint. They talking about chase us. What do you mean chase us? Heineken. You know what I'm saying? Straight to the head. I'm thinking Heineken and Guinness. I'm thinking that's what. I'm not hip to the Ciroc. I'm not hip to none of that. So I'm thinking this is a Heineken, Ciroc, Corona, drink it. So they're pouring the Pepsi, pouring it, they're chasing it, mixing it up. I'm like, you punk niggas. Literally, I'm like, what type of solidity, bro? I straight took that. Straight took it. And I was tore up from the floor up, boy. Woo! I was lit. I used to think people getting drunk was fake. I used to be like, oh, they're faking. Yeah. Bro, I was drunk. I remember going to shout out my boy Jose. I went to my boy Jose's crib, and his mother had a cross in the crib. And he's like, yo, my mother, she's a real spiritual woman, man. When we get in here, you better, and mind you, I'm already drunk. So I'm like, oh, I get to the house. She's like, oh, hallelujah, Jesus. She's hugging us. I love you. I say, I love you. And he warned me. He was like, bro, I will crack your chest, bro, if you come up. I need a crib to live in. We about to graduate high school. You ain't about to do this. I'm not getting kicked out. So I was like,
last minute.
Literally. So I'm like, yo, you know what? Cool. I get there as soon as I say, I go. She goes, hallelujah, Jesus. I say, hello. He's like, thank you, God. Amen. I hugged her. And I went, he goes, my boy's tired. She goes, oh, no, right there, couch. Bro, I went on that couch. He's talking to me. It's like, come on. Gone. Blacked out. Fainted.
Damn.
It wasn't even a nap, bro. I fainted. Woke up. I was like, yo, got in the car. We're out again, bro. The whole senior day. It's like the senior final bunking day. Yeah. We're drunk, whatever. So Boo was laughing. He's like, and then, he's off. He's gone. He got his, because, Boo was outside. He had his peoples. So they're gone. So now these guys are stuck babysitting me. Yeah. So yeah, so I met, that's when me and Boo really
that's our first
that was our first, I would say, real, because, throughout high school, we was all, shout out Brittany, Hank, Daryl, we used to all cracking jokes. But that was when me and Boo really was
Yeah.
You know, we had that was like one of our real good moments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then throughout the years, obviously, you know what I'm saying, we boys community. He's doing his thing. You know, going to the Olympics. You know, I'm in the real world trying to survive college.
Yeah.
Blah blah. So yeah, throughout times, and we slowly started reconnecting. He started seeing, you know, we're watching each other's status, watching like, you know, getting closer. And then we're situated and everything I've been doing. I'm great at branding, marketing, and just how I move. You know,
He always wearing situated.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, I remember one time, you know, Boo was like, yo, and you know, he's like, yo, man, like, I like what you do. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, you out here, you a whole celebrity. I told her, I was like, bro, you a whole celebrity.
Yeah.
And his energy, like when we travel around the world and we go to Africa, Portugal, whatever, him, you know, we like, his spirit, like I really like, yo, people don't know this about him. And I gotta tell the world this, bro. Like, that man is a walking sacrifice, bro. He sacrifices for his family and everyone around him. Bro, I've watched him shed weight. I've watched him literally like his training. You go to his training, bro, when he's training for those fights, even though those fights might last 2 rounds, 3 rounds, bro, he really sacrifices, bro. He will be in a ring with like 5 different weights for training.
Yeah.
The fast one, the heavy hitting one, he's taking it so he could feed and provide. You talk to him, bro, like you're around him, he wants to help you do good. He wants to help you do, bro. He like, his soul is really, and I gravitated to that because that's me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's me. Like,
Tribe
boo,
vibes.
yeah, tribe vibe. Like, yo, he really is a person. He wants to see you win. And I was like, yo, you're a star. You're not getting these fights. This boxing world, social media, you know, like, you have the team you have, etc. I was like, bro, I got a set of skills. You know what I'm saying? Generally, I have a set of skills, bro. Like, I want to see you win. Just how people come in my life and bless me, you know, I was like, yo, I want to see you win, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, whatever I can do, whatever set of skills, and bro, like I'm telling you, God has blessed me with so many gifts. There's certain things that I do, that I come across, that I don't even know where it comes. I keep saying this, but it's God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He has prepared me in this world to really, but like there's certain skills that come out of me and certain things that I know how to do.
Yeah.
Quality is one.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, and I have my team, my situated team. I was like, yo, bro, from the photographers, from this, from that, planning this, that, and the next, your culture, you know, the narrative. I'm like, yo, we gonna go to Cape Verde. We gonna do this, like, you know, let's travel the world. Let's go to Portugal. Let's, you know, all this. So it's like literally, and I'm just like, anything that my skill is there for, bro, like I'm there. Now, when you see his brand, you know, his brand from what it was back then, you know, he has great people around him, but everybody has a role to play. You feel me? A trainer has their role to play. You have the big management that handles the millions of dollars and the contracts, etc.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, you have different, everybody has a role to play, and I have my role to play. So I was like, yo, let me just play my role. He doesn't, one thing about him, he trusts everybody on his team, bro.
Yeah.
Boo-Boo's never the person to ever overstep anyone. When I say a leader is truly a student, I learned that from him as well. You know what I'm saying? He disciplined me more even within my business and my brand and what I do. Boo-Boo is a student. He listens. He will listen to you, bro. Like, you have something for him, he will listen to you. Boo-Boo listens. Like, if he comes and he talks to you and you pour something, he will listen to you. So he trusts everyone, from his trainer to anyone. You know what I'm saying?
He's a sponge.
So literally, he's a soaking, and that's why he's great. That's why he's who he is. So literally, like, everything that I tell him, everything that I say to him, every vision that I have, he's like, all right, let's do it. He doesn't question it. He doesn't question anything. It's like he gives you the benefit of the doubt. And I don't know who he's worked with and whatever, you know, because we all give people the benefit of the doubt. They screw us over, whatever. And he's had people that, and he's told me this, we had convos, like him and I were together all the time. That's like my brother now, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, you know, and we have these talks, we'll just sit in his garage, and, you know, we're just, you know, we're traveling, we'll just talk. And he tests me, he's like, bro, I used to have agencies fly me to like LA, spoil me, treat me, do this, just so they could do what you do. You know what I'm saying?
That's incredible.
Like, he's like, you know, they used to try to like, and he's like, but I knew their motive. You know what I'm saying? I know what the, you know, and it's like, he recognizes the genuineness in me for me to want him to win. Because he sees what I do with everything else I do. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm like, bro, you my brother, you my lifetime partner, whatever you need, I'm here. And the same thing, I pour into him, he pours into me. And it's just a great relationship, and the family, from the trainers. It's like, it's all a team. Like, whatever I have in my side, my corner, belongs to him. Whatever he has, his resources, from the bodyguards to whatever, you know, like, it's like synergy
Collective.
and
It's a family vibe.
Yeah,
almost.
you know, and that's what it is, and we move like that. You know, shout out Hot and RI, Delgado. You know what I'm saying? Like I bring my crew Tev, Hot and Thursday. You know, I like Thursday's film, Tev DiCaprio. Like everything that come from my girls, like you know, my assistant, you know, my director of events or you know operations. Anything and everything, we all come together, and then from his end as well.
Yeah.
So it's like a mesh, and that's how we move. So everything we do, it's like a unity, bro.
You can tell by the way, by everything, especially his content online, his social media presence and everything that you've, you know, helped with that end as well. Like it just moves. It looks organic. It looks great. It looks nice. It looks HD. You know, and especially in comparison to how it was years ago. So. That's a you know, you both are winning, and it's a great collaboration, I would say, you know, in partnership for you to be a part of that, because obviously he's great, but then you are so great and you have such an amazing, you know, energy and your spirit and everything you've gone through that even you just being around him would benefit him, but let alone actually, you know, filming or whatever it is that you're actually adding to his, you know, content or just brand.
Yeah,
that's why it's so great.
Yeah, because on his page, it's all quality. I don't let anything go on that page without quality. From the you know the dialogue, everything. He's like, yo, whatever that needs to be done, bro. Like whatever, any connections we have to make. You know, like I don't post anything on that page that's not quality. That doesn't have a genuine narrative. You know, because before, you know. We're all good at certain things. There's certain things we're not good at. Even me on my team. There's certain things I'm a creator. I'm like, and after that I'm like, yo, can you do that for me, please? Can you structure that, make that better? You know, we could shoot music video, right? And somebody got to edit it or whatever. I'm not great at everything, and I will never pretend I'm great at everything. There's certain things Boo Boo's great at, and certain things he's like, yo. But he has such an environment, and I have such an environment where we trust those people to make it. So like the narrative and the dialogue and everything, like even before like certain fights, like I'll be like, yo, bro, you know, like, and I'll tell him, and I don't know nothing about boxing, bro. And I've always had like, I'll be in the mirror, I always, you know, do my little, you know, we all have our little, whatever, we go through stuff like, oh, you know, but I don't know nothing about boxing.
Yeah.
But I legit tapped into this world, bro, and I learned so much from it. You know what I'm saying? And like certain things I would just tell him, like somebody says, it's not about knowing what's going on. It's not about what's going on, it's about the formula, right? There's a formula that you just need as an overall. So I have that formula. So and I tell them all the time, I'm like, bro, so certain things, even with like the fights or whatever, I'll just give them advice. I'm like, yo, bro, like, you know what? Like, they're saying this and they're saying that, bro. Like, tell them what it is. Like, speak the truth. Like, you know, certain, and he'll be like, yeah. And then, like, when the Quigley fight, when he fought Quigley, and, you know, I was like, yo, bro, after you win that, don't even answer questions. And they give you that mic, just scream. If you watch it, he's like, next, before he left. I'm like, yo, screaming that mic, next. Whoever it is, you know, just call them out and just say next. That's it. I don't want to talk no more. They know it's not about, it's about the fighter saying yes.
Yeah.
So it's about the networks making it happen. So I'm not going to keep saying that, because there's certain people in the boxing world, there's either ignorance because they don't know why the fights aren't happening.
Yeah.
And there's certain people that know why the fights boxing has changed.
Yeah.
You know, being in it for the time that have been in the industry, fighters have to say yes, bro. If fighters don't say yes, a fight doesn't happen.
Yeah, you got to open one door that can open a bunch of other doors. If you don't, then they're gonna close all the doors.
That's
for you.
it.
Yeah.
So now his social media, he was at 100,000. Me coming on board, etc. He's growing and growing. I don't know.
Half a mil.
Yeah, $500,000. Like he's like, I don't even know what's the most recent one, but he's going up.
Yeah.
It's the value of who and what he is. I'm like, bro, I celebrate it to this day. I be calling him, I'm like, bro, woo! When he won, and he said, after he won in that video, and I put the sound effect in the back, and he's like, it's me again.
Yeah.
And another one, and he's like, whatever, and he had a cut on him, the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
He was leaving the hotel room. He was leaving his room, and he was going back downstairs. We was about to go have pizza. I said, yo, just for a second, just let him know, talk your bro, talk that talk. And he was like, it's me again. Boom, and he walked away, and I cut it, 100K plus view.
Yeah, people love that because it's creating,
authentic.
It's creating that authentic character, you know, because it goes back to the most generic thing that people can relate it to, especially when it comes to sports, is like wrestling, where you love these wrestlers, and it's like they're all skilled. Everyone knows that they're skilled, but what else is it about them that you like? It's not the skill, it's the branding. Every wrestler had a branding behind it. Undertaker would come out of a casket. Everyone had the branding, or some of them might have a catchphrase, a signature move. Their Kurt Angle with the Kurt Angle lock. Bobby Lashley would just come out and he'll highlight his biceps and like his shoulder, his extreme. So everyone has that, so that's what would make them get more fights. That's what would make them get more merch sales, more branding awareness, more fan investment. So slight things, even him doing that, the branding of it's me again, the catchphrases and you capturing those moments and posting them, that's what's gonna take him to that higher level. And those videos and those clips, even though they're short, they're on Instagram, those are gonna live on forever as well.
And I'm getting feedbacks, and a lot of I do a lot of things, and I'm behind a lot of brands. And like I said, I pour into people. I don't speak of. I'm more of like behind the scenes of a lot of things. You know, like my family business, like the I Freak the Lounge. You know, on Feather Hill. You know, we have that. So there's a lot of things that I'm involved in. But one of the major things that I realized too is like I don't tell people I'm behind that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't like that, you know, because, you know, it's like they say, what you do for people, you know, like, do it because your blessings is going to come from, and, you know, we bless each other in a sense.
Facts.
But certain things that I've, you know, people actually said without knowing that I'm behind certain things, they're like, you know what I like about his brand now? You can connect with him. You get to see him. You see, and that's why, you know, anything I catch him. Yeah. Like, I catch, like, your lifestyle, like, you know, when the state honored him, I was like, all right, we're going to get the governor. I'm gonna, you know, shout out, you know, Enrique. Enrique was like, yo, Ivan, you know, let's set us so me and Enrique, we got together. I was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. Let's make it happen. Boom. We arranged the whole thing. We got the governor on board, this, that, and the next. And I was like, yo, we going to document this. You know, Delgado's my wingman. I'm like, yo, Delgado, boom. You know, Stan, let's go. You know what I'm saying? I get everybody. I'm like, we going to create, let people see this. And people start saying like, yo, I like that you're showing this moment. You know what I'm saying? Now Cape Verde, the whole Cape Verdean, like Cape Verde is a, you know, country in, you know, on the west coast of Africa, whatever the case is. That whole that whole country supports him, but Cape Verdeans are everywhere. And you know Africans have a lot of babies, you know what I'm saying? You know, so Cape Verdeans is everywhere. And they all support him. We created that narrative. We created that. So now anything he does, he has that support. You know what I'm saying? Financially, they might not be able to go to a fight, but that backing is there, you know, and I brand that, you know, everything he does, the Cape Verdean flag, the USA flag, it's me again. Everything I post is literally strategic to like, this is me genuinely. This is what I am genuinely. So, you know, and I love everything I do, bro. I honestly enjoy everything. I get excited. I don't feel like I go to work when I'm a teacher. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm going to minister to that young man or that young lady that's facing abuse at home that nobody know of, or that young man that has a brother that's a drug dealer, trap boy, killing people, and tell him, yo, pick up the gat, let's go do this too, bro. I'm pouring into that young man saying, don't do it. I wake up every day going to do that. You know what I'm saying? We're situated the brand. When I make designs and I make content and I get these models, I don't say, oh my God, you know, or when I design, I'm like, yo, I'm going to create content. I'm going to put out outfits. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. Because what I'm doing through this movement, hearing that guy's speech about how it inspired him to fight, there's going to be a purpose for this. That's how I move, bro. That's why when I tell everybody, like, you want to hate on this person, I'm like, bro, do not ever bring that word. We're not competition. This isn't a competition with this brand. There's room for everyone. Yeah, there's room for everyone. And what I'm doing, bro, I am literally in my fellowship. Everything I touch, I am literally, when I'm at the lounge, you know, I'm dancing. I'm having fun. I'm creating customer service. I'm talking to someone that's having a bad day at the lounge. How you feeling? What's going on? Pouring into them, talking. Bro, everything I do in my life is genuinely who I am, because from coming from that ship, from coming from that, y'all seen it.
Coming from a vessel, you became God's vessel. That's what it is.
And that's how I move.
No, I love it. I love it. And perfect way to end it on a high. Because I don't even got to ask them no specific, like, what's your, the struggles about, like those common questions I ask, like, what's the, like, people always say, like, as a Rhode Island, you know, what's the biggest struggle? He already talked about that. It's like you don't gotta think. You don't gotta think about. You know, you're the smallest. Make it. You gotta make it where you are. He touched base on everything. This was an incredible conversation. One of my favorite conversations.
Big facts.
I loved your energy. You know, and again, just remind the people, for those who haven't, you know, caught it yet, where can they find you? What is your entire, you know, if they want to reach out to Ivan Brooks, or they want to maybe get in touch with any of your other things. Even shout out the brands and like the names for the brands as well.
So first and foremost, the foundation of what I am, the music. Music is that's people say what makes you happy. Music is what makes me happy. When I'm in the studio creating, that's my happiness. So I've been on this musical journey for years. When one of these things do pick up one day, it's going to be a ripple effect for everything else. So my music, so now I've branched into like Afro R&B vibe.
I saw that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like I have a single now, I Love Me, I just released. We haven't done no marketing for it yet. We literally just put it out there. So we got a few support. We're planning on marketing now in East Africa. We're going to start from the African market and we're going to bring it back up north. I have a record called Flowers, which is like my story about, the lyrics literally says like, they never see the tears in the night when I cry. You know what I'm saying? Please, life, respectfully, please hand me my flowers. So I did Flowers, you know what I'm saying? So like all these records, the next one I'm about to release is called, I did the I Love Me. Next one is going to be called Try Again. Whatever you go through in life, try again. So that's what my music represents. So coming up, we're going to promote from East Africa, West Africa, etc. to expand up. So Ivan Brooks Music on Instagram, YouTube. So that's what I'm going to be doing with that. Situated the brand, like I said, we're about to blend into our healing collection. But if you don't know about the brand, just follow it. I'm situated. I'm situated on Instagram. I am, and then situated, and then definitely the website we're redoing the brand because my website for some reason, bro, I've done all these things, dope events, and my website was tweaking. Didn't even know.
Wow.
People would tell me like, you go buy a $30 shirt when you check out. It was like it's like a coding thing. Like I don't know my website.
Like a glitch or something.
The enemy. You go buy a T-shirt, $30. The checkout box, $1,000.
Wow.
The fuck,
bro! I can never win. Like literally, it's been crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm so blessed. People will hit me up and say, "Y'all come to your warehouse," and they will come and they'll buy like $400 worth of stuff right away. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so the new website we're structuring, we're putting it on Shopify. Coming up, shout out Lynn for putting that in my head. She's like, yo, bro, go on Shopify. Shopify actually, what they do is when you have a business with them, they invest in you. Like they'll give you like a bonus of like 10,000, 20,000, whatever the case is. So we're gonna transport to Shopify, so that way it's much of an easier thing. So I'm gonna do a new campaign coming up for Situated. So I'm here today because I survived everything, but I'm healing. So if you see a lot of people, I'm gonna bring you some stuff too. I'm gonna bring you guys some stuff. So you're gonna start seeing a lot of people because our models, they be outside. So you're gonna see a lot of people wearing something called healing. Like how Essentials, Fear of God. Right, so it was Fear of God, then it went to Essentials. So Situated the brand, we're now going to our healing. So you're gonna see a lot of people wearing the word healing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try the trucker hats and whatever different vibes. So, we're gonna start our healing collection as well. And then with Boo Boo, like, it's only up from here. From the last with the Javonte Davis card that we have, everybody just pray for the man. Like I said, bro, like really pray for him because he's changing lives. He's sacrificing. He's really making sacrifices for his family and friends and everything. And the fights that's not happening is simply because these people have to say yes. So just pray that somebody says yes, because we're doing everything.
Y'all ready?
We are ready. He's training nonstop. You know what I'm saying? And so that's definitely going to be doing this thing. So I mean, honestly, like I appreciate you for bringing me and everyone.
You giving us your time.
Yeah, anybody in Rhode Island that never heard of me or this is the first time or heard of me or whatever the case is. This is really who and what I am. This is any way anyone wants to contribute to what I'm doing, being part of Situated. Like I said, the event is February 18th. Yep. This time we're going to dedicate this event to the youth. February 18th, John Hope, Get Sturdy competition, $1,000 prize for the kids. We're going to crown the dance prince and dance princess of the city of Providence. So if your kids can get sturdy, bring them. It's the first Saturday of their February vacation. You know what I'm saying? These kids are going to be looking for certain things to do, and some of these parents can't afford certain things. We live in hard times. So this will be a day to come, and I'm trying to get as many people that can donate so we can give them free stuff, gift cards, whatever the case is.
What's the location?
John Hope. John Hope Settlement House.
Okay, John Hope Settlement House.
So John Hope, if you know where John Hope is, just research it. And
I thought you just kept shouting out. I thought John Hope.
Oh, shout out John Hope too. You know what I'm saying? Legend. John Hope. You know what I'm saying? No, but John
Hope was going to be there too.
No. John Hope. But and that's what I'm saying. If John Hope, anybody's watching this, any legends.
My brother right there.
Any legends within the city, bro. My vision for it, and even with the gala and everything that I do, even with Boo Boo, my music, I always have this vision, bro. I'll be like, yo, I'm envisioning this. My team is like, the girls are like, you're crazy. And honestly, the vision I have for this event, like, you know, shout out Institute for Nonviolence. They're actually getting behind too. The Equity Department for Providence Schools. The governor's supposed to be coming through. You know, we're trying to get a lot of people coming. But my vision for this, I had literally said in the beginning, I was like, I want the Institute of Nonviolence. I want the governor. I want all the, you know, people like yourself. And I want everyone in the building that day where we can celebrate the youth. I got the big speakers coming. It's going to look like a movie stuff. I want the recap. I hit up Red Eye, you know what I'm saying? Josh and them.
Yeah,
you know, he said he's going to hit up Flawless and everybody. Boo Boo's coming. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have a vision for all of us there, just literally celebrating the youth that day. The first youth day of the city, and we could do it annually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that. It's about unification, you know, with collaboration, like we stated earlier, throughout everything in music and also obviously in life. You know, that's where you get the best product, I believe, throughout collaboration, throughout unification. You know, love actually being visualized, tangible. And our version of love for Rhode Island and the city of Providence would be, you know, major collectives, major actual people that the younger coming up citizens of this city and state look up to, such as yourself, such as Boo Boo, such as us with this podcast, the YouTube channel, everything. We get, you know, fans every day. So I would love to definitely, you know,
yeah, Rhode Island, we're dope. We are, bro. We're creating a culture. Like people from other states watch us. I have
100%.
people that watch us. You know, people watch you. Like people are watching what we're doing out here, bro.
Yeah.
We are great. You know what I'm saying? And anybody watching this, I'll end it by saying this, like, yo, whatever you want to do in life, just do it. You know, like, just do it. You want to do something, do it. If you want to create a brand, you want to, you know, you don't know where to start, contact me. Listen, like, I am literally like, I'm blessed with life where people say, how do you do all these things? I don't know where time comes from, but I do it. You want to create a brand. You want me to help you with a brand name, help you create a logo. I have a graphic team. I'll do it for you for free. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of person, like, I literally want, because I always say like this, bro, life is short, right? If I was gone tomorrow, you know, in church, in Ebenezer Church, when we always have this thing where the pastors say when we're doing funerals, they say when God asks you, like, job well done. I forgot how they say it, but well done, my good and faithful servant. You feel me? That hits me every funeral. What have you done while you was here? Mm-hmm. And I take that to heart every day, bro. Like, I get emotional all the time when I say it, because, like, I want to make sure my purpose and my gift, because I see people that don't make it, bro. People that are battling, fighting illnesses, sickness, homelessness, bro. I have friends that are homeless. I just took a young man under my belt recently. You know what I'm saying? I'm providing him a job, you know, putting him under my belt, you know, really trying to help him from not going in the hood, you know, going in the hood and taking the wrong way.
Yeah.
Bro, like, I live a life where every day I'm looking for a way to, and I don't speak on it. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many, I don't speak on it because, bro, I want to leave this earth and know, like, I was able to serve my purpose. And I feel like anybody watching this, if you want to do anything in life, please do it. You know what I'm saying? And if you can help anybody, do it. You're not taking away your shine. Because even an example with Boo Boo, when Boo Boo Rock Situated. Oh, what about 18? Boo Boo's like, that don't affect 18. Like, me representing Situated or this, you know, because, you know, it's always people. There's people that's gonna come in your head.
Bullshit.
Yeah, why you showing this person love? Right, bro? No. But do whatever you got to do in life, and I appreciate you for continue bringing a person like me, you know, like, on board. You know, I'm a person, I feel like I do what I do. I'm like, who's going to want to hear about, you know what I'm saying? But you saying, look, let the world know about what you do. I appreciate you for that. And let's just all keep coming together to do powerful things. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's the goal. That's the goal. We appreciate everybody listening, Rhode Island to the world. Cap, we are out, and love.
They gon' let me for my ambition.
Perfect.